What's up, guys? This is Ruben the Tailor from Mouthguard Out Podcast. Guess what? Like always, we always have another special guest, but I say we do this. I say we run the intro first, and we'll go from there. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Boom. Let's check it out.
Step into the ring, yeah, we taught that fight life. Yeah. Mouthguard Out Podcast, where we shine that bright light. Ruben the Tailor is do it up so clean. MMA fighters, every champ on the scene.
Jason Stewart.
What's
up, brother? How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Hell yeah. You can probably do the other one because everybody always climbs over the damn the boom and all that. But guys, this is Jason Stewart. He's the owner, CEO. Give me more titles, man.
The founder, owner, CEO of Epic Fighting.
Epic Fighting.
Yeah, Epic Fighting, man. I just can't get over all these amazing former Epic fighters and affiliates that have signed this bad boy. Tina the Predator Pettigrew.
Ooh.
She has the #1 most viewed Epic fight on YouTube.
I think it's like 5 million.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We got Nasty Nate Harkeen. That's one of my favorite fighters
Nasty
to watch.
Nate. He's a brawler, man.
I love it because he's a freaking brawler. He gets in there. I was just talking to him on the phone. I was like, bro, we got to get you back in that Epic cage. Ruby Daniels. We already know she's going to be high level in the
He
UFC.
was on Epic too. Xavier Vines.
He was an incredible fighter, and like his style was super fun to watch, super athletic. Jazzy Jeff Creighton, he's crushing it. He's about to be on the Ronda Rousey and Gina
on the card. Yeah,
so proud of that guy. Part of the new gym over there, teams. Daniel Reyes, Epic champ.
Come on,
defended it.
Pro debut.
Oh my God,
his pro debut, he crushed it, man.
And I just saw that the other guy made it the distance, and I was like, that had to be a tough guy. And then I saw the fight, and I was like, damn, like the clips that I saw, Daniel was just outskilling the guy in every way.
The great thing about Daniel is he's a first round finisher. He went all 3 rounds.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, who was the beast that made it 3 rounds with Daniel?
Yeah.
But then I saw it and I was like, ooh, he might have been getting punished for most of those 3 rounds.
So
6'7" slice of heaven, Kaz
Egan. You know he's part of Savannah Bananas now.
What is that?
It's like the crazy baseball banana game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like part of the Firehouse. So I don't know if he's still doing announcing.
He's such a cool guy. I still have his Christmas card that he sent me.
Oh, hell yeah.
MMA Kid. I was supposed to call him today.
Oh, cool.
Talk about a young guy just following his passion.
Since he was 18 years old.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I love this.
Hell yeah. So as you see, Jason, Epic, he knows all these fighters here. Now, really quick, thank you so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
I know we've been going back and forth, and all of a sudden I saw you at Hendo's, at Dan Henderson's, and I saw him. I know you were with your family, so I was like, I didn't want to bother you. But this guy reached out to me and says, hey, bro, I love your podcast. I want to be on the show. And it's like, let's do it.
I saw a lot of these guys on your podcast, and I was like, oh, that was really cool. What was cool was when MMA Kid, Nick was like, my first event ever was Epic Fighting, and when I went there, I was just got hyped up, and I was like, that's cool.
We were talking earlier in regards to Epic and how it started, and obviously we started talking money about being profitable and all that, but I want to do this. I want to revisit that good conversation we had outside, but a lot of people think is, I'm going to start a business, and the next day I'm a millionaire. The next day I'm riding Rolls Royces and Bugattis and all that. It doesn't happen. And what I told him is, this show is not profitable. And then you know about profit. It hurts. You see what I'm saying? So every time we record, every time we post a video, we're actually losing money. But now, the last time I saw you in the ring, and that's when I saw Daniel Reyes' last fight, you had mentioned that Epic was finally profitable. And
we've been profitable for a few years now, but it took us 7 years to turn a profit. We would have shows where we make money, shows where we'd lose money. Yeah. But at the end of the year, I'd be like, damn, I pretty much put in over 100 hours per event. Yeah. And back then we were doing, 6+ events, 6 to 8 events a year. Now we've been doing 4 for the last several years. Yeah. And, I was like, man, 100 plus, some shows even 200 hours easily, some more per event. To break even. It was crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, I got some tips on that. Like, obviously, I was in real estate. I didn't want to give up real estate. You could close one deal and make, tens of thousands of dollars. Real estate has done well for me. I still do real estate. Good. What I tell people is more is less and less is more. And if I would have only focused on Epic and spent all my time on that and no time on real estate, I still would have been working 5 to 9 instead of 9 to 5, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. But my attention would have been focused enough to where we probably would have made profit the first year, if not the second. And if I would have just focused on real estate on the flip side, I probably would have doubled my sales. And then doing both is just like, not only am I not making any profit with Epic, but I'm like cutting my profit in half with real estate. Yeah. And I think people don't realize that the more things you do. A good analogy I heard was you take a ladder. Yes. And there's a wall you're trying to get over. And, and that wall is profitability. Yes. And then once you get above that, sky's the limit. You can go from $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month to 30 to 60 to $100,000 a month profit, right? Yeah. But you got to make it over that wall. That's the hardest thing for businesses to do. Yeah. And the most common reason businesses can't get over that wall because the ladder takes 5 steps. Yes. But instead they have 5 ladders and they put 1 step on each ladder. And then maybe you can get them to get rid of 2 ladders, but they still have 2 ladders, one with 3 steps and one with two or 3 ladders. You know, there's just not enough steps to get over. Absolutely. But if they were to put all their energy into that 1 ladder, get those 5 steps on there, they'd be able to get over. Absolutely. And that's what I see happen with a lot of people. It's like,
well, that's where a lot of businesses fail. Again, everybody has that Amazon mentality. I want to start today and I want to be successful tomorrow. I'm on year 2.5 of this show. I'm losing money every single time, but what does it do? It allows me to bring fighters in and promote them. And you see what I'm saying? You know, like you say, we have some amateurs here. They're pro now. Daniel Reyes, Momo Morales, you know what I'm saying? So that's what my job is here is not to cut a profit, but to help fighters. And now with you, what we could probably do is help promote even more. But what else about Jason Stewart, man?
Oh man, I'm open book. Where you want to go with it? You know, I try to define and redefine my definition of an epic life regularly, so I can, right now, epic life is also. I moved from I was in Coronado for like 8 years in a small place, which I loved, right on the ocean, and that was a huge lifestyle change. From there, I decided I'm not going to go to the real estate office anymore. Okay, I'm going to work from my phone. I'm going to be outside as much as I can. If the sun's out, I'm out. And I started moving a lot more instead of versus working in the gym. So I used to be a fitness trainer. So we could delve into that. But I was a fitness trainer for a lot of years. And in the fitness training world, it's a bunch of guys trying to compete with other guys on like who could get bigger, who could get the muscles and this and that. And like,
you know, what's funny is before we started, he wanted to make sure I put the light right on his bicep. So
you got to get the right angle. Let me get a little bit more of that. Got to get the right.
Where were you at? Right there.
There it is. There it is. Boom.
He goes, make sure the lighting hits my bicep. You got to do a little tricep curl too.
I should have worked out for it.
What? You should have did a couple push-ups, man.
But it was almost like I was an ectomorph my whole life. I was a very, very skinny kid. And so it was just like, okay, I'm going to lift really heavy. Okay. And then I'm going to like move as least as possible all day and never do cardio.
I hate cardio, by the way.
And then I had a guy at Victory MMA. He was working out the in their like kind of CrossFit area years ago, and he said something that was like simple but profound. He was doing these those Bulgarian split squats. Yes, he had heavy weight and he was going really deep, and I was like, bro, you have to be really strong to do what he's doing.
Very flexible,
and have great balance. Yeah. So I saw him doing that, and I was like, I don't think I could do that much weight. Not especially not with that exercise. And I was like, do you do yoga? Because this hip flexor was going way back. And he was just like, oh, yeah. That's what it is. And then I started thinking, like, a guy that strong, that flexible, with that much balance and that much conditioning, because he wasn't resting long in between sets. Yeah. I was like, he would be a force as a fighter. Yeah. And I was like, you don't, like, do Muay Thai, do you? He's like, oh, yeah, I do Muay Thai. I was like, you don't do jiu-jitsu, do you? He's like, yeah, I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I was like, fuck.
There you go.
It's like, I already know this is one of those blue belts that would give me trouble.
Is this before Epic?
No.
Oh, okay.
We had started Epic. Yeah. This is like right around the time I moved to Coronado.
Got it.
And then so I was like, so what do you do to like keep your cardio that good? Do you run? He's like, yeah, I'll run every now and then. And so he's like, look, because I kept asking him, do you do this? He's like, look, I basically decided if I'm going to call myself in shape, if I'm going to strive to be a fit person, my body better be able to do whatever the fuck I tell it to do.
Especially going to be a trainer.
Yeah, no, he just said it's going to be able to do whatever I tell it to do.
Okay.
I'm not going to be in a situation where I have to swim and Mr. Fit Boy can't swim, a half a mile or something because I don't know how to swim. Or I can't get in this position and I'm going to pull out my lower back because I'm not flexible enough.
Yeah.
Or, he said he used to be the guy that just lifted weights and never did cardio. But if he was ever in a situation where he had to, do something, jump rope, whatever, he was like, I couldn't do it. Like I had no wind.
Yeah.
And so if I have to defend myself or get in a fight, what's the point of all those muscles and you can't back it up?
Yeah.
And so he's like, so I do everything. So after that, I was just like, we just moved to Coronado. We started riding our bikes to school and stuff. And I was like, all right, we'll ride a bike to school. Then we'll run to school on some days. And then we'll skate. And then we'll skate or ride our bike to the beach. And then we'll swim in the ocean. Then we had a pool. Like some days we'll do laps after our workout in the gym. So I was like, me and my family are going to be able to do everything. And then I started going outside more. And then people started saying I looked younger. Yeah. And it was just from being outside more, breathing fresh air, moving more.
Absolutely.
And then I really study, my mentality is so simple. Everyone says, this is how you're supposed to do this, and this is how you're supposed to do that. Just look at someone who has the results that you want. Yes. Right? Someone has the body that you want. Okay. What do you do? Someone has the life that you want. Okay. What do you do? Yeah. Someone has the body that you want, but then they take, maybe they have the muscles you want, but they take steroids and you don't want to. Yeah. Okay. Let me model someone who's done it naturally. Got you. Maybe this person made money, but you don't want to work as much as them. Let me model someone else who made it in a different way. And I model blue zones. Okay. And blue zones are places where people live happy, healthy lives over 100 years old is kind of the norm. And they live in multiple generations in the same house. And so recently I moved from Coronado to a bigger house in Scripps Ranch where I have all of my kids living with me from baby to 26. Yeah. I have my grandchild living with me.
You're a grandfather.
I'm a grandfather, yeah.
Look at this guy, man. I saw you had a baby at Dan Henderson.
Yeah, that's
newborn.
That's my baby. Yeah, newborn, about 5 months.
Oh, congratulations, man!
Yeah, and then my granddaughter's about to be 2, like
2 years old
or so.
Wow.
Yeah, and so now we all live in a house. We have a pool.
That's good.
We are growing some of our own food. We have a compost bin that we're trying to figure out how to use. Yeah. And and with Blue Zone, some of the things they do is they eat organic, usually from their yard, if not a local farmer's market. Yeah. They're usually 70 to 80% plus of what they eat is plant-based. Okay. No processed stuff. Yeah. And they, the most important thing is the relationships. Yes. Lower stress. They're not in high cortisol fight or flight mode all the time. Yeah. And they move a lot. They walk. Like 10,000 steps is like a light day for an 80-year-old in most of those communities. And
really?
And Americans have trouble getting it in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of obesity.
Yeah. So, so that I was just like, all right, so that's what we do. We're going to move more. We're going to be outside more. Yeah. We're going to, build relationships, stay close with the family, have dinner nights. Yeah. We started implementing a dinner night where we eat at least once a week with the family. Yeah. And does your grandchild live with you? Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Grandchild lives with me. Yeah. So it's a fun household. Actually, I was late to here because my granddaughter would not let me leave.
Oh, okay, got you.
She was crying.
That's a good excuse, man. That's a really good
excuse.
To
my neck, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta go.
It's like, come on, man.
Papa J. She calls me Papa J.
Papa J.
So Papa J originated from the mother of my 3 kids. So I have 4 kids. The new one with Carly, and then the other 3 with Anna.
What's your oldest that made you a grandfather? Or was it
Jasmine?
Jasmine. Okay.
Yeah. So everyone thinks that Jasmine, Lily, and JJ have different parents because they're spread out, or different moms because they're spread out so far, but they're all the same mom. Okay. 26, 18, soon to be 27 and 19, and 13. Mm-hmm. And so, but they're all with the same mom. And then she had another kid with someone else, Laz. Him and I are really cool. Okay. And then, and I was with that kid a lot because that's their brother, and I was always helping take care of him and stuff like that, and taught him how to do skateboard, taught him how to swim, and he would ride with me on skateboard since he was like a tiny baby. Wow. And he would only hear people call me dad. Okay. Dad. So all he heard was dad, so he would call me dad, which was confusing because he's got a dad super active in his life. Mm-hmm. So his dad actually was just like, no, you're going to go to Papa J's house. not your dad's Papa J. So
Papa
he
J.
came up with Papa J. And so all my other siblings, to help eliminate the confusion, they started calling me Papa J. So it's like Papa J, and then he has dad. His dad. And then when I found out I was going to be a grandfather, I was like, "You guys don't call me Grandpa. Call me Papa J. We're gonna roll with that." And so Papa J has stuck.
Wow. I have a son. He's 29 years old and never married, no kids. And I told him, I said, "Don't make me a grandfather till I'm 65." That makes sense. So everybody's like, once you become a grandfather, you love your. I was like, no, I'm good right now. I'm good right now. Man.
You know what? I always heard that, and it wasn't something I was like eager to become.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Is it?
Yeah. The grandkid is just different. It's different.
My son's in Maryland, so he's doing his thing. So I'm like, okay, just have fun. I go, there's going to be women all the time, man. So don't worry about the women. They'll come to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me know about a little background of Jason, because every time I see you at Epic, even if some other place, you're running around, bro. You're on your phone. Last time I saw you at Epic, you had your phone with the wire to a battery charger, and because you're constantly just blowing up that phone. But I appreciate you coming. Now, as far as we're talking about you doing sports and all that. Have you ever fought?
I have fought.
Yeah.
I've
because I'm trying to get into the whole Epic thing. So why do you like MMA? But I want to get a little bit more background. So I know you do like parkour or gymnastics or anything, or because I've seen his Instagram and he's running.
Yeah, that was part of me. Just like in my 40s, which I'm still in my mid 40s, but right around the time I moved to Coronado, 37, 8ish, maybe. And then I remember I got like my first skateboard when I was 40.
Okay. Really?
And and people are like know me as the handstand on the skateboard guy.
Yeah. Hey, just to turn around, you can see, I don't know if you know that brand, GNS. Yeah, that's old school brand. That's the board I had when I was 16 years old.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I was a skateboarder too, but I was skating since I was 16.
I had a skateboard for a brief moment as a kid, but I just found it, and then someone else.
Neil Bender.
Okay.
Yeah, man. These are like old school.
So you were a skater.
I was a skater, man.
Nice.
Skater die, bro. That's why I got excited when you said skating. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I used to skate.
Yeah. So I got my first skateboard when I was 40.
Yeah. And
then one day, Juliana Killer Miller, I like telling that story because, she was a friend of mine since she started fighting. Yeah. I don't know if you know.
Tina trained her before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she fought my daughter when she was 19 and my daughter was like 16.
Oh, wow.
At an Epic event at a place called Somewhere Loud.
Okay.
It was like this rave venue here in San Diego.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
And so anyway, she stuck with it. She started winning fights.
Yeah.
She won a few at Epic. She became our champ. And then, as you know, she got called in. I love the story because the way I understand it is she wasn't picked to be on that show. Like, she didn't have enough experience. She wasn't good enough, whatever.
Okay.
And they had like a fallout. And so with the fallout, they needed, I think it's 8 girls in the Ultimate Fighter house.
Yeah.
And so she was like the last minute replacement or whatever. So she goes in and she's supposed to lose her first fight. Like, everyone's kind of saying like she's not even supposed to be here, this and that. Like, it's going to be an easy win. She wins. The next fight, same thing. She got lucky. They underestimated her, but she's going to get her. But she wins. And then she wins all of her fights. And then she makes it to the finals and she's in front of, 10,000 people, whatever. And on a real UFC card. Yeah. And then they were like, well, the other girl who made it to the finals is legit. Like, she's going to whoop Juliana's ass. And then Juliana whooped her ass. And then she did that signature move where she's all, like, kiss my ass.
Yeah.
And then she became an instant star. I remember Bellator had an event here.
Yeah.
And I saw her. I think we were just walking to get some food or go to the bathroom or something. And someone stopped her. Like, can I get a photo with you? And then just this line formed. And I was like, you're probably going to be here a while. I'll catch up with you later. I'm going to go run to the bathroom. Wow. And I was just like, she's legit. And then she came and commentated because she was commentating for Epic whenever she was in town, which she still does. Yeah. And it was just like all these people want to take pictures. I was like, a star was born. But Juliana was like, we were homies. We'd hang out every now and then. She was like, hey, let's have a day where we hang out and stuff. And so she brings she was like, I had skateboard. So I got sponsored by Cali Strong. Shout out to Cali Strong. And that's when I started getting
sponsor
skateboards.
the show.
Yeah, that's where I started getting skateboards because they have skateboards.
Yeah.
They have socks.
Hell yeah.
They have all types of dope apparel.
Shoes.
They sponsor the shoes.
Yeah.
They have tons of athletes that they sponsor, like a bunch of big names. So
Yeah.
I was happy to even just be in the category of all these athletes that
Just
they
really
sponsor.
quick, what board, you use their board?
They gave me a long board.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a few long boards from them.
Got it.
And so so here we are skating,
Mm-hmm.
and I have like this plethora of boards now. You know, once you get into it, you've
Yeah.
got like a whole collection.
Oh, yeah.
And we're skating around, and she's better than me at skating. Like
Okay.
she knows how to do tricks and
Yeah.
ollies and kick flips, I think. And she can like walk back and forth on the board. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't really do all that yet.
You know what? Real quick, when we fall, it hurts now. These young kids, they fall, they just keep going, man.
So she's showing me tricks. I'm trying to do them,
Yeah.
and then she does this little like handstand. And she goes from like there to here, and I was like, let me try that. And then I try it, and
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I feel like I could. Like
Yeah.
that wasn't as scary as I thought it
Yeah.
would be. And I tried a few more times. She tries it a few more times, and then it might have been 6 weeks later. I just kept trying it every day I'm going to try to do at least one.
Okay.
You know? And 6 weeks later, I could go really far. Like as far as if the board was going, I could go
You
with
just
that
keep
board.
going. As long as the
then
pavement's smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like if there was a slight decline, I could just keep going.
Oh, shit.
And then next thing you know, I was like one of the best in the world
Really?
at handstanding on a skateboard, all because she showed me this little trick. And I was like, I'm going to keep trying that.
Yeah.
And I've taught a lot of other people how to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it trips. It's a cool party trick, you know. You go to the Mission Beach Boardwalk
Hell
and
yeah.
people are like, holy shit, you know.
You know what's funny? While you were telling me that story, and then we're talking about business, every story that you give or say, it has to do with business. It's like the whole handstand. If you would have just gave up at the beginning, you wouldn't be here right now. You see what I'm saying? But you just kept going, and all of a sudden, boom. It's just one of those things that I look at you, I respect you, and I look up to you. So every time I see him, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, damn, this guy knows what he's doing. Now that I'm getting the background, everybody has a struggle.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then right now when you were saying that story about the handstand, I'm like, okay, where's this going? Oh, guess what? He became the world champ on that freaking handstand. And that's why we have Jason Stewart here, the founder of Epic Fighting. So
yeah. So I think I don't believe much in talent. I do think that some people are naturally going to be taller or naturally have a different frame or, you know, but I feel, you know, they were interviewing this bull rider once.
Okay.
And she was like, who do you feel has the best chances of winning the whatever the bullfighting championship of that finals world is or whatever? And he's like, I mean, it's not that complicated. Whoever gets on the most bulls in the off season wins.
It stays on longer, right?
It stays on the longest and wins. He's like, it's not like one person is just naturally better at bull riding. It's whoever got on the most bulls. And, you know, Conor McGregor talks about that a lot. He's like, I don't believe in talent. I believe it's like whoever puts the most hours in. Yeah. One of my favorite, so I try to read everything Malcolm Gladwell writes. He's just, and all he does is take research and make it really interesting and makes it really easy to digest and puts them all together in one place.
Got you.
And this book, Outliers, they're trying to find outliers, the prodigies. So they go to music, like to musicians, and they say, divide these people into groups: the prodigies, the good, and the average.
Okay.
Right? The average people could maybe teach music in a school. Yeah. The good people,
those that can't teach. That's why I was a teacher for 15 years.
You were. The good people, they could they can play.
Yeah.
Like you could throw them in the band. And then the prodigies are like, holy shit, like this guy's blessed. And so then they go through and they say, hey, go back and calculate how many hours you spent learning your craft, learning your instrument.
Yep.
And the prodigies were all over 10,000 hours.
Okay.
The good were all 5,000 to 10. And the okay were all under 5,000 hours.
Okay.
And what they were looking for was an outlier. Someone who only practiced their instrument 5,000 hours, but they're a prodigy. They're none. They're looking for outliers the other way. Someone who put over 10,000 hours into the instrument and we're still average. There's none.
Yeah.
So then they go to chess masters.
Yes.
Chess masters, every single chess master in the history of chess, and I love chess.
Well, you got your grandmasters too.
Yeah. I don't. I think it was Master Grandmaster, but whatever it was, to get to that level, every single one had at least 10,000 hours of playing chess,
and they have a high ELO.
What's that?
It's like they're scoring. Like if
So
what's your ELO? Oh, it's 3,000. Oh shit, I'm only 1,000.
Yeah. I think I'm like 1,250 or something like that.
Oh damn, that's
Is that
good. That's fucking good, bro.
Really?
Hell yeah, that's good. And to me, I don't have an ELO, but if anything, I'm probably like 400 or 500. My wife's actually higher than me.
Really?
Yeah.
Definitely over 1,000. I know that. And so there's no outlier. So in chess, out of all of the people that they interviewed, there was only one person who made it to Chess Master in under 10,000 hours. It was Bobby Fischer.
Bobby Fischer. Damn, this was back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. And Bobby Fischer had a really high IQ. He was really like kind of introvert, like eccentric.
Wow.
And he pretty much just focused on that. And then it took him 9,000 hours.
Okay.
So you're talking about the one outlier, quote unquote, only did it 10% faster than everyone else. So it wasn't like he did it in 5,000 hours.
No.
Like he did. So like that's kind of the difference where like maybe his brain is set up in a way where he can get it in 9,000 versus 10.
Okay.
But you look at what's the kid's name? He was a Tai Chi champion. So the movie Chasing Bobby Fischer is about him. His name will come to me. He does free diving. I've been following him for a while too. So it was about him as a kid wanting to play Bobby Fischer. And everyone's like, you're not good enough to play Bobby Fischer. And he eventually played him and beat him. But yeah, so you're talking about the best in the world still taking 9,000 before he came champ. So that's kind of it. Like, there are people that may take 10,000 hours to match your 9,000. Yeah. But if they put 11,000 hours, they're going to beat you even though you're naturally gifted.
Absolutely.
So that's all it is. So a lot of my skills just came from trying it. Like everybody's a white belt until they keep doing it. Yeah. Like I think I naturally had stuff that made me good at combat sports. So yeah, I would go to the gym. Like I still go to the gym like a few times a year. Yeah. And yes, I can. A few
times. Look at them arms, though.
Yeah.
One more time.
No. So to MMA.
Got it.
Like I don't go that often. I remember I used to go twice a year, kind of consistently for like 6 years. But I would show up. It was kind of like riding a bike, and there was people that I know probably had more hours on the mat than me. Yeah. That I could still beat them. Really. But I had other skills and probably some natural things. My bones kind of bend. So it's kind of weird. Like they bend, they don't break. Are they soft? I've never broke a bone. No, they're just kind of like bamboo. Okay. And then I have this weird thing where I don't feel pain. So there's a lot of moves where people, and there's pros and cons to this, but if you get me in a bicep crusher or a calf slicer or something of that nature, something that's painful, an ankle lock, I won't tap because, and that's worked against me. I've, I have a funny story where I challenged Junior Dos Santos. Okay. And I thought I beat him and I couldn't walk. I could could barely walk for a few days. But that was where it worked against me because I couldn't feel that I was supposed to tap. Yeah. But those things made me naturally good at combat sports, but also like, it wasn't like I wasn't doing workouts that made me strong, that gave me maybe some conditioning, maybe some flexibility, maybe some movements that helped me out. Yeah. Like epic fighting, like I wasn't naturally good at running a fight promotion, but I had years of real estate where I learned marketing, I learned negotiation, I learned customer service skills, I learned about business. I had years as a fitness trainer. I had competed in a lot of combat sports. I've done wrestling, I've done pancration, I've done jiu-jitsu tournaments, I've done MMA fights. And I had been training my daughter for years and she had been competing in pancration, wrestling. She made it to state all 4 years for wrestling. They didn't let her compete every year because she would either get into it with her coaches or she'd have grades or something. Wow. But she was good enough to make it. So I was kind of in that world. And so there's like a bunch of different skills that when I got into it, I was like, I understood sales, stuff like that. That was a huge one. Like you could be, you could fill the house all you want. Ticket sales alone aren't going to cut it. Like and then I understood business to where it's like, I don't just go to a sponsor and say, we're going to put your name here.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm going to say, hey, tell me about your business.
Yeah.
Listen, right? People think selling
People love talking about their businesses.
Yeah, people think selling is telling.
Yeah.
But like, if I sit with you and say, what's your goal with this podcast, or what's your wife's goal with her SEO business?
Yeah.
All right, I got a guy I can connect you with.
Okay.
I got I learned all about networking, be more interested than interesting.
Yeah.
And so when I sit there and talk to someone about their business, I'm like, okay, so you don't give a shit about your website because you don't sell anything on your website. Or you don't care about your logo being everywhere. Or you do. Like, your business is great. You're just trying to brand it, make your brand cool. You know, whatever it is, there's different goals for different people. And then I can come up with a plan. I could be like, hey, you know what? I'm in real estate. If I can send you this much termite work or this many loans or this and that, the sponsorship is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Just show up and have fun, whatever, like have your people go to the table and feel cool because they're shouting out your company, whatever.
No, absolutely.
Or some people are like, I don't even go to the events, but, make enough, give me enough money, we'll sponsor forever if you add enough value this way or that way or whatever. And so those types of things made me good at promotion, but it's skill accumulating. I'm a big believer in absorb as much knowledge as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because you never know where that knowledge will come in handy, and accumulate as many skills. I'm big in skill stacking. That's why you'll see me do the slack line, the skateboard, the free skates, the carver board, the wakeboarding, the calisthenics. So I never did gymnastics in my life, but the guys in Coronado where I was doing these cool tricks, I would come every week. They would meet on Sundays. I'd say, teach me one trick.
Yeah.
Teach me one trick. I'm going to practice it. If I don't get it by the end of the day, I'm going to practice it all week. When I see you guys next week, hopefully I'll have it. Yeah. And then I'll be like, okay, I got this move. What can I do after? Because they do flows, right? They put the music on and they'll jump, slide down the parallel bars, and then they'll do this flip to a handstand, to a Korean dip, to a cool thing. And then they're just like, all right. They're like, okay, after that move, you could stack it with this move. And then you could do this move. And next thing you know, I'm doing a minute, 2 minutes straight of just move after move after move to a song. Yeah. And it's like, and then being able to do Korean dips, being able to go all the way down in like a bench press or a fly. Yeah. I've never like hurt my shoulder. I've never torn rotator cuff. I've never, because it's all these other things that I'm doing. Wow. So I'm a big, like, just learn and skill stack.
We'll learn the right way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Now, as far as all that, okay, because you say you've competed before. Now, let's go back a little bit, a couple years. What made you say, you know what, I want to start a fight promotion? Because you had a lot of things going on. You real estate, you got all that, blah, blah. Where did you find that, I'm going to say 10% of time to say, you know what, let me start that?
It ended up being a lot more than 10%.
I'm just using an analogy here.
I had... I've heard it from a few people, but people were like, givers gain. Yeah, I used to be in BNI. That was a big
I remember
thing,
that. Business Network International.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'd be like, some rich people, sometimes they just cut checks and keep it moving. Cut checks, keep moving. If you ever get a chance to do hands-on, like, it could be, there's tons of ways to add value. And so I was a fitness trainer for a lot of years. Yep. And at the time, the mother of my kids, Anna, she really wanted to get in shape. And she's like, why don't you have a workout? She's very social. She likes to have all the friends together. Okay. Why don't you do a workout here every day at 6 o'clock? So I was like, all right, I'll commit to Monday through Thursday, 6 o'clock. And it was cool because there's Pareto's law and Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law says your tasks will swell to the amount of time you give them. I was in the office till 9, 10 o'clock sometimes, but I knew I had to be home by 6 to do this workout. So I would just be as productive as possible while I was in the office, be home at 6, and I would give everyone this free workout. And it'd be anywhere from 5 people to 15 people usually. And it was just free. Anyone in the neighborhood, any friend of a friend, invite who you want. I'm just going to...
Was it out of your garage or something?
Yeah, I had a cool house with a cool setup. I had like an indoor gym, an outdoor gym, a section on the side of the house in this part. Punching bags up. I had sandbags. I had weights to carry. All kinds of cool stuff.
Originally, all that was for you.
That was just for me, and I would train the kids. Like my kids, I was training them all the time.
Yeah.
And myself too. And so we would do that. It became it was like a fun give back thing. Everybody was getting value out of it, and one person brought another person who brought another person, and that person was like, I don't know if he ever became a Navy SEAL, but that was his goal. He was like in the Navy and trying to do that. Gotcha. And he wanted to do a fight promotion, and I had mats too. And so I would grapple in there. And he was like, I want to grapple. And then I grappled him.
Oh yeah.
Whooped his butt a few times. And he's like, oh shoot, you're kind of good at this. He's like, hey, why don't we combine? I'm going to do a show in Albuquerque. Why don't we combine forces after that? We'll do a show here. So his was right around this time of year. Actually, it was around Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
So he was hyping up his show that was going to be.
Is it still in commission?
No, he was one and done for the show.
Oh, got it.
And so I was like, that's crazy. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And then I went back to reading 4-Hour Work Week, where he says, start a muse somewhere around your passion. Yeah. Most people don't know what the hell passion is or what their passion is. He said, so if you want to learn what your passion is, follow your free time. Because if you ask someone, what are you passionate about?
Wow, I like that.
Helping people.
Yeah.
Okay. Helping people. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Saving animals. Okay. What do you do in your free time?
Yeah.
If your Instagram feed isn't filled with like different ways to save, the wells or whatever it is, then that's probably not your true passion. It's just your default answer, And so your passion is skateboarding. Like I could see your thing. Like that's what you're into. Like your passion is MMA because you're doing this podcast. So it's probably some business, whether you monetize this podcast or create a related business that the podcast synergizes with. And so he's like, all right, what do I do in my free time? I'm either training my daughter MMA, I'm training myself MMA. I was doing classes whenever she was doing classes. The only sport I've ever been interested in watching is combat sports. I don't know who's in the Super Bowl. I don't know who's in the basketball finals. And never been that interested. And so I was like, okay, MMA gear. Maybe MMA gear for kids or for girls. Because my daughter couldn't find pink wrestling shoes or pink MMA gloves, and she couldn't find any her size either.
This is what, like 15 years ago?
Yeah, this was like 2010.
Okay.
And so
16 years,
So I kept like trying, and then he asked me like 3 times, like, yeah, you should do that. Like, think about it. You've got the real estate experience.
Yep.
You know all that. My daughter was almost like a quote unquote prodigy back then. She was competing in tournaments, beating boys. Yeah. We were going to all the gyms. So like they would always welcome her. And so I knew all the coaches. I knew the owners of the gyms. And I knew about negotiate. He's like, you could negotiate this and that. And I know all of the other stuff, the insurance, the bonds, stuff like that. And so the third time he asked, I was like, oh, maybe that could be that MMA side hustle that I was saying. So when I'm kind of an extremist, my wheels start turning. I just do it. Yeah. Promoter's license, this, that, the other, insurance, start getting sponsors, have someone create a website. Yeah. And I'm just doing everything myself. Did the matchmaking myself. Did everything.
Wow.
I'm just going.
So you're right. It was more than 10% of your time.
Oh, it was like, so that's the only time in my life where I just did not work out.
Yeah.
And I didn't work out for 6 months. Which was crazy for me. Like going a week I'll go insane.
Oh, I don't work out for 2 days. I'm already frustrated. I'm like,
So for 6 months, I was just like, I remember canceling some of my, the group workouts.
Okay.
That we were doing because we were like a week or 2 before the show. And I was like, no, I have to save this fight and I have to do this. And so he calls me after his event. And he was just like, hey, man, I'm looking at your website. I'm looking at Facebook. This is even before Instagram was really a thing. It was all Facebook. And he's just like, bro, you're crushing it. I don't know what value I could add at this point. Like, you've done everything that I could have done. You're marketing yours better than I marketed mine. Okay. Like, good luck, man. Like, if you ever need anything, I'm here, but like, good luck. Oh, shoot. I think his name was Edgar. I would love to find him, man, because he really...
Edgar, if you're watching this, comment below.
Edgar from the Navy used to work out in Chula Vista off of Crest Drive in 2010. But he got the wheels turning. He came up with the idea. And then our first event, it was funny how you said, people thought I was like the CEO of this multi-million-dollar company that must have come from some LA or Vegas or something. Yeah. They were just like, wow. And I had 2 reoccurring dreams that would happen over and over and over, like whether I was awake or asleep. It was just like 2 versions. One was the whole place was dead. And they were like, hey, the fights are supposed to start. And I'm in the first event was at 4th and B. And I'm inside of 4th and B. And I was like, just give it more time. People will show up. And they're like, we're already 2 hours past the start time. Like, we have to start these fights. And I'd be like, and it was just so scary because I knew, like, I didn't have much money then. So I was just like, I can't, I can't pay for everything that I need to pay without like the ticket sales, and no one came to see it. And it was just like so scary. I would cringe at the thought. And that gave me a fear motivation. Yeah. Yeah. They say fear will motivate you faster than like the other side of fear. Mm-hmm. And then I had this other vision that kept happening, that it was super packed. Everybody's having a good time. Like, the place is sold out, and everybody keeps coming up to me.
And these both dreams just keep reoccurring. They just keep
coming. Boom, like, boom. I remember I would start to doze off, or I'd be asleep. I remember one time I was asleep, and like 1 a.m. Look at that. I had the nightmare dream. Right? No one's there, and I woke up. Wow. And I look at Anna. She's asleep, and I was just like, I'm out. And I grabbed posters, and I go into, we had like a Range Rover. I went into the Range Rover, and I just went staple, tape, putting posters
telephone
all
poles
around, telephone walls, poles, the back of street signs. And I remember the cops came over, and like, because I kept putting my flashers on to jump out, and I forgot to take the flashers off, and they came next to me. They're like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I be?" He's like, "You have your flashers on." I was like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot." And I was like, "Thank God they didn't I wasn't getting in trouble for putting it up." Yeah. And so I was out for like 2 hours till like 3 a.m. Wow. And so but in the good dream, coaches and fighters were just coming up to me like, thank you so much. And fans were coming up to me like, that was the best time of my life. Like, when's the next one? When's the next one? And I remember I was so confident. It was almost like, there is no plan B. This is going to succeed. Yeah. That I put 1 on the poster. It's almost like making a movie and putting like, number 1, like knowing there's going to be the sequel. You know what I mean? Like I'm confident I'm going to have enough success for a sequel. Yeah. So I put epic fighting 1. And so, we did it. And, we had like about 1,000 people. We had 8 fights. I remember I'm in there trying to set everything up. Yeah. It's kind of a dark setting at 4th and B. I've never been there. And one of my helpers, this girl, she was like, "Come here, you got to see this." And I was like, "Oh, are you sure? Can it wait?" They're like, no. This might be the only time you get to see this. And she takes me out the door. She's like, "Look." And I look, and there's people. I was like, "Oh, there's people here." Yeah. There was like a whole bunch of people all the way down. Yeah. And then she's like, "Walk with me." And so, 4th and B kind of starts in the middle of the block. Yeah. So we walk the other half of the block, and we turn to the corner. And as far as you could see,
there was people lined up.
So there were people like all the way here and then all the way here back. And I'm looking and I'm seeing some of the coaches from my daughter's gymnastics class. Like, how did you guys hear about, a friend of a friend?
This is before online sales and tickets and all that, right? Or was it will call, you just show up and buy your ticket at the door?
Yeah, I can't remember if there was any pre-sales back then. Yeah, that's a good question. If we had online,
I mean, if it was around, people were waiting to get in.
Yeah, people were definitely most of them were buying it there. Most of them were buying it there.
Yeah, because I remember you told me a story that sometimes you had to push people away, be like, "Sorry, we can't fill it up."
Our 4th event, we turned away like 1,000 people. It was at the Sheraton. It was ridiculous how many people were at that event. It was bittersweet. Yeah, it was a quality problem, but it was a problem because some people came all the way from LA, turned around and drove back. And what sucks is a lot of people will filter out. Yeah. I learned, if they go to watch, Jaden Fugate fight, well, his family kind of sticks around for the whole thing. But there's certain people in the family, like the grandmas and stuff, they just want to see
and then they're gone.
Billy, and then they're gone. Yeah, so it's like, if you just get the fights going, some people will circle out and you could let them come back in. But that show, I made $15,000 profit. Okay. I think the show before and the show after I lost 7-ish. So it kind of evened out. But it was a huge thing. So it was cool because everyone came up to me after that event and they were like, "Holy shit, that was incredible. Can you believe that? Like, did you ever think in a million years that it would have went that well?" But to me, it was deja vu because even though I was having a bad dream, I was having that good dream, that vision over and over and over. And I was like, bro, I just had deja vu. Yeah. Like picturing this coach coming up to me and saying, "Thank you so much for giving my fighters the opportunity." It felt so good. Yeah. And the fighters being like, "Hey, thank you. Count me in. Every show I'm in town and healthy, I'm on it." Wow. And I was just like, wow, this feels good. The fans telling me it was like the funnest night of their lives.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this was deja vu. So they were like, can you believe it? I was like, yeah. I just relived the same thing. That's been happening in my head for weeks.
Did you start printing Epic 2 after that and says, you know what? Let's do it.
So we right away, we were like announcing our next date. It was like 6 weeks later. We were doing it every 6 weeks back then.
Yeah.
And then I started picturing an event so big that like not everyone could get in. And then everybody wanted to like interview Epic fighters and the Epic staff and stuff like that. And by Epic, they were already doing that Epic 1. They were like, yo, who is Epic?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, what is Epic? And so by Epic 4, we had that event where we had to turn away like 1,000 people. It was super crazy. And everyone's like, can you believe that? Can you believe that there'd be that many? And I was like, yeah, I'd seen that vision over and over and over.
That's good.
And then right around Epic 4, a bunch of people started getting Epic tattoos, like a big old E. And people came up to me like, could you believe that like people are getting your logo branded on their skin?
Oh, before you started doing the tattoos at the fight.
Yeah.
What?
Like before we did it, people would go and get them
done
at their local tattoo
and
parlor.
then they'd be like, Jason, look.
Yeah, and it was like good quality and everything. And like you look at some of those that were done in 2010, they still look like a fresh, brand new, bright red, perfectly outlined.
Yeah.
And when they said, can you believe that people are getting, and I was just like, no.
Wow.
Like, no, because I've never had a tattoo. I was just like, I never pictured that in a million years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the difference. You have your goals that you're striving for.
Yeah.
When you reach them, it's going to feel like deja vu because you've been thinking about it and visualizing it for so long. But then you have procession. Procession is like, I planned on making an impact in the gyms and the coaches and the fighters and the fans. But then you might make an impact somewhere else that you never thought. Yeah. So procession is like a bee goes around. I'm just trying to get food for the hive.
Yeah.
Another hack is I would go to businesses and be like, hey, your minimum thing is $100. Yeah. If I make little $50 gift cards, chances are they're going to spend maybe $200 getting facials, massage, whatever you guys have to offer. But this could get them in there.
Yes.
And if they don't use it, they don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't have to pay in advance. Versus the Starbucks gift card, you know, if they don't use it, you just lost the money. Yeah. But it's the gesture where they see like, wow, this guy really went out of his way to send me $50. Yeah. Even though you didn't have to pay the $50.
Absolutely.
And you're helping that business. Yeah. So that business would get so many new clients because of me. So I would make little business cards that had my info on one side, the spa on the other, and I would make like thousands of them. Yeah. You know?
Are you the type of person that gives a gift basket to the new owners of the house?
Yeah, I give them something. Okay. So like recently.
And I'll tell you the story after.
Recently I had Serena Cuevas who, I was so mad. So she rescheduled her housewarming party. She's like this famous Latin dancer. We've been friends forever. Okay. And I finally helped her buy a place. She's been talking about buying a place since I met her like, 15, 16 years ago. So I finally helped her buy a place, cool place. And then she moved it. And then she moved it, her housewarming party, to when I was in Hawaii. I was like, girl, you're killing me. Yeah. But I went on and I paid for all the catering and stuff for her party. And
there you go.
So it's like stuff like that. So I'll definitely do something for them.
Got it. Yeah. My realtor, I bought 3 houses from him. The first time he sends me a basket, a bottle of wine, tickets to the Padres, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. The second house I buy from him, same basket, a little bit more cheese on there. And then when I bought the third house from him, I said, hey, bro, I'm enough with the cheese. I want something better in my basket. Yeah. So sure enough, he freaking sends me a basket. There's an iPad in there. There's a MacBook Pro. I said, yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, the next house I'm getting you, better be a Porsche parked in the driveway, bro. Right? All the money I brought him, right?
Speaking of cars, I saw you had the Bentley keys out there. You got a Bentley poster there. You got a Bentley something there.
Yeah, I love cars, man.
You're into them?
Yeah, let's talk about cars. Let me do this, man. I want to cheers for you, Jason, and Epic. Salud. Thank you so much. Pellegrino sponsor the show. Every show, I always give you guys shout outs. I drink this religiously. Yeah. I love cars, man. I love cars. We've had Porsches, Bentleys, you name it, we have it. And it's more for us, but I know you're a car guy as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the Bentley GTC, the convertible. I have the Bentayga there. The only reason I got the Bentayga is because my parents are older now. They're in their 70s. I can't be putting them in a convertible or in a Porsche.
No, that back seat is tight.
Oh, my God. So I started doing that, other cars that we have. But let's talk about cars, man, because I know you got a good collection.
Yeah.
This guy pulls up in a Bugatti. No, I'm just playing.
We had a Bugatti when we used to have our events at 4th and B.
Okay.
It might have been like Epic 7-ish or 9-ish or something like that. But yeah, we had and it wasn't just a regular Bugatti. It was like a
Veyron?
It was Bugatti Veyron, carbon fiber, everything. It was like a $3 million car back then.
Yeah.
It was like 2010, 11.
Uh-huh.
And Mark Chase and Patrick, they were the owners of Symbolic Motors back then.
It's O'Gara now.
It's O'Gara. So
Yeah,
they still have
that's where I
Symbolic.
get all my cars.
Yeah. So it's they sold that business for like $10 million to O'Gara.
Yeah.
I hope that's public knowledge. I'm
It
not allowed to share that. But
well, I don't know about the number, but
yeah. But they kept so most of their profit was on the antique cars anyway. And so Patrick speaks like 5-6 languages.
Okay.
And Patrick Van Shoot. And he would go to like Japan. He understands the culture. He speaks the language, everything. I think he's originally Hungarian. And he speaks whatever language they speak. But he would go there and he would see the cars and it would be like an old Mercedes, whatever, 1970 something. And he'd be like, all right, I got a buyer for that. So he would maybe buy 3 or 4 cars for, let's call it, $1.5 million.
Okay.
And then he would come back and he would sell them for $3 to $4 million. And he would already, because he's in that world. He would already know like this one, this guy's going to buy. This one, it's between this person or this person's going to buy it. And so versus the new cars, there wasn't a whole lot of markup. They give you a little commission for selling a brand new Lambo or even the Bugattis. They were telling me, we don't make as much as you would think for selling this Bugatti. Yeah. And we make way more on the classic cars. So when they sold it, they weren't allowed to compete with the new cars, but they were happy with that because they're like, we make all our money off of the antique cars anyway. But yeah, I've always really loved it. I remember my friend Eric Timms, who owns Event Motoring. I would go in there, I would look at the cars. Every now and then he'd give me a car to park in front of Epic. Okay. O'Gara Coach used to bring cars too. Yeah. That's why we had the Bugatti there. We used to have really cool Lambos and stuff. And I'd go look and I'd be like, let me see this car. Let me see this car. He was like, Jay, I don't know if you know this, but I sell a lot of cars. I sell luxury cars. I sell exotic cars. He's like, you like cars. Yes. Like you might think it's like, no, like you like cars more than 90% of my clients like cars. Like, eventually you got to get one. But I was always like, that's not responsible. This, and that. So, I mean, we would talk about it for years and years and years. And I got to drive most of the cars because every now and then they would get left over because the person who brought it maybe was drinking, or sometimes I would even drive Patrick home. I remember the first time I drove him home, he was out, had a couple drinks. I was like, I'll drive it so you don't have to leave it here. Was it a Lambo? No, it was a Bentley V12 GTC. That's when I knew I had to have this car. Yes. And so he was like, when you get on the on-ramp, he's like, push it. Push it, bro. And I start to, like, I'm already kind of pushing it. He keeps encouraging me. And I was like, I'm not trying, this is your car. I'm trying to be delicate. He's like, no, fuck that. He's like, dude, go. He's like, this car right here is faster than the Lambo I brought to Epic, the Ferrari I bought to Epic. This car, I was like, are you sure? It's a Bentley. They're not known for speed. He's like, this is a W12 engine, one of the greatest. So I pumped that thing, and then we turn around on the off-ramp as it was spinning. There's no lag. I was like, holy shit, we get on the freeway. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, there's a picture of the Bentley right there. Yeah. That's me. I've had a few of those Bentley GTCs. Yeah. I've had, I want to say 3 of them, definitely 2. Yeah. I had the V12 was the first one I had, or the W12, the W12. And I've had the V8. And which one do you like better? Oh, the W12, 100%. Honestly, I like the V8 better. You like the V8? Oh my god, because it's twin turbo. Not all of them are twin turbo though. Okay, mine was. Okay. Oh, the one that's in there? Yeah. Yeah. If you have the twin turbo, that's different. I don't think I had the twin turbo. I had the regular V8. Yeah. But both of them are smooth. The luxury and the smoothness are the same, but just that engine, the acceleration, it feels good. Yeah. But so fast forward and people, Turo becomes a thing and people start renting cars, and I was like, being an extremist, I was like, you know what? Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. I did the math. If you rent a car 4 times in a month, it'll pay for itself, at least at that time. I probably should have shut my mouth because I did a bunch of podcasts and Instagram posts. I was like, everyone should just buy their dream car or cars. And just pimp it out. And just rent it out 4 times, and then it pays for itself, and you're driving your dream car for free. For free. Well, everybody bought their dream car, and then it went from $1,500 a day for an exotic to
like
1,000
800.
to 800 to 600 to now Turo will like auto price it for you and they'll be like, yeah, $300. And you're like, for what?
For what?
And even like my Maybach was like, I was getting 600. They were like, yeah, how's $89? Like,
no.
what are you talking about? That's a V12 engine.
Yeah.
Like one of the greatest cars ever produced.
Yeah.
Like if you Google best car in the world, Maybach often comes up. And I'm just like,
wow.
So, but yeah, in 1 year, I bought like 10 exotic cars. It was stupid. And I was
McLarens?
Yeah, I think a McLaren was in the first year.
Okay.
If not in the first year, it was in the second year.
Okay.
Well, I had 2 McLarens.
Yeah.
But one I had like with a partner. So it was like his.
Okay.
But we would kind of share it. And I would give him tickets to the fights and stuff.
Got it.
And then the second one I just bought by myself at an auction.
Yeah.
And that one was the red one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
that was a 650.
570.
570.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I bought a Lambo, a Ferrari. Maybe I did have a McLaren in the first year, but I bought a Lambo, Ferrari, a Vanderhaal, a Slingshot, a Porsche Macan, a Bentley, a Maybach. What else did I buy?
And you had housing for all those cars.
No, bro. I lived in an apartment. I lived in an apartment and I was supposed to, in Coronado, and I was supposed to have 1 parking spot. But I had like finagled like 2 or 3 of the parking permits. So then I had 3, but then that left like 7 more. So then I started getting more and more and more. And I remember one time management was out there and they're in my balcony looked down at my parking lot and I would like put them on here.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 a couple I would like park on the streets and then I would kind of see them all there. And then a couple people, I remember one time I posted something on Facebook like, hey, I have these exotic cars. If you want to rent them, I put it on like the Coronado Happenings page. Yeah. And then somebody from the apartment who obviously had no name and no photo, he was just like, yeah, and they're all parked by the G building at the, and I was just like, this mother. Wow. And so, so I just had like a whole bunch parked in there. I had a few that I would park on the street. Yeah. Some of them I had to cover, like the topless ones, like Vanderhaal and Slingshot. I know I'm missing a few of the cars that I had, but yeah, we had a shit ton of them, and then we started cycling through, and there was like we would get more cars. Yeah. Then I bought later on I bought a couple Ford Focuses for like $5,000.
Okay, just
and
so you can get them.
And then I started leasing them. I started leasing them long term. Okay. So one of my employees still has one. I don't charge him that much. And then my daughter drives one. But now she's been driving the Porsche lately. She's like, I don't like how that car sounds. And every day I see her take off in the Porsche. I'm like, girl, that was not the deal.
Yeah, that's not the deal. You see what I'm saying? Dang.
But I kind of switched the business model from daily rentals. It was just, everyone thinks, like you said, that, oh yeah, the business will be easy. Just rent it out a few times. You don't realize how much work to get that rental because you have to answer DMs. What do you got available? Okay, I got this.
Can you do it for $400 a month?
Yeah, can you do it for this? And it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Most of them never turn into a deal. It's like, man, why do I always? And then if it does turn into a deal, you got to be there to show them how to use the vehicle. And then you got to be there when they drop it off. And if you're not, there's a dent, but you can't prove it. And I was just like, oh, this actually takes time and work. And I had an assistant that was helping with it, and then they ended up being a little shady. Wow. And he was just keeping my cars for days and having them at his house and joyriding with them and putting all these miles on the Ferrari and ended up stealing some money and cashing one of my Epic Fighting checks in his business account. It was ugly. And so, so I just decided, you know what? A lot less work is if you keep it long term. Here's the contract. You do all the maintenance. You change the tires. You do the oil change. And if you keep it for this long, portion can go towards principal. You can buy it at any time. And it's kind of like a lease. Most of them have a lease to own model. Oh, good. And so I have a lot of them I sold. The Ferrari got stolen. The Lamborghini got totaled. Some of them I sold. and I still have a few, and most of them are on like a long-term lease. I think I have one or two that I could still put on a long-term lease if someone's interested. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've leased most of my cars, especially cars like that, like the Bentleys, McLarens, and all that. It's just, you don't want to. It's a nightmare. I'm just dreading the day something happens. Like the Bentleys bought. So I already bought that one. It's like, okay, I've had enough of these cars to I know where the maintenance is, how much it's going to cost for oil, and blah, blah, blah. So I bought that one. I said, you know what? I've had that one for years now. So I'll keep it. One's nice, Well,
so I lease it to other people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So so like I'm the leasor, right? And they're the leasee.
What is it called? When you sublet an apartment, you got the owner, but then you got the subletter. So you're the subletter. So
I'll buy the car and then most of them, I guess I lease out. I own cash now. Yeah. Or I own outright. And then I'll say, pay me this much per week. Keep it for a year. Like my buddy Terrence, he had my Porsche Macan for over a year. Okay. Yeah, he had it until he got his, his ducks in a row, found a car that he wanted or whatever.
This guy's a nice guy.
So it's a good. Well, he was paying me. So
I know that, but he's still a nice guy.
He was paying me $325 a week. And so it works out. Yeah. I feel like he should have bought that car because a portion of it we should have worked. He wanted to do a straight lease. And I was like, well, we should set it up as a lease to own because, but anyway, so I lease the cars out to other people. Wow. And then they just pay me like every week. And then if they ever want to give the car back, they can give it back. Or if they ever want to buy it, they can buy it. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you see? Let's go back on track to the reason you're here. So now that I got the whole aspect, like I said, I always see this guy at the fight. So it's one of those, hey, what's up? Hey, how you doing, sir? Blah, 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 blah. Now we finally sat down. I always say I bring everybody to the dungeon so I can probe you, so I can see what Jason is. So now next time I see him at the fight, it's not one of these like, hey, how you doing, sir? It's one of those, hey, what's going on? But what is Epic now going to be going forward? Because obviously you said you're profitable now. I just want to see, I want to look back 5 years from now and say, holy crap. Because right now you guys are just amateur. Are you guys ever going to go pro-am or pro? Or?
Yeah, we're going to do pro-am. I enjoy the amateur fights. Yeah. I like the shorter rounds. I like the
That's true.
Smaller cages.
That's true. Yeah.
Not the cage has nothing to do with pro or amateur. Yeah. You could do big or small cage, either one. But I think the 2-minute rounds are very exciting. But we do plan on doing a pro. We've actually been negotiating with a few venues. Okay. It's interesting because everyone's like, oh, once you go pro, I'm like, for a lot of, now there's a few decent pro ones outside of UFC that people could do. For a while, it was like, man, the pickings are slim out there. Even back in the day when we first started, people would go to a Bellator event and they'd be like, bro, I had no idea you had 2, 3, 4 times as many people at your events as a Bellator event. Like I'm at a Bellator event in Texas. Yeah. Looks cool on TV, but there's 500 people here. Yeah. Like you had, 1,500 at your last event, know?
Even like, for example, where Tina fought Combate Global, it's more of a studio.
Is it?
So it's more of less than 100 people.
Really?
So it's more of the coaches. She goes, she likes fighting there because she can hear her coaches better.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just, absolutely.
Yeah. But for like the fans experience and stuff, when you're actually there, the big, even UFC, which I love, and much respect to UFC, Dana White, I love what they do. But a lot of times I'll go to those big events and I'm watching the teleprompter the whole time, and you can't actually hear when someone gets slammed because you're, the closest row is kind of like the furthest row at Epic.
It's more intimate.
Yeah. But with Epic, it's just that energy. It's that epic. So a lot of my idea for the vibe of Epic, this is the weirdest story. It came from when I was a fitness trainer at 24 Hour Fitness. We had to go through these like 8-hour a day for like a week, just learning everything about not only training, but like their whole business model. Gotcha. They wanted everyone to be on track with, what their goals were with the company and stuff. And so they were like, they had one session where they were talking about branding. And I was like, okay, what does this have to do with personal training? I don't know when I'll use this, but it was interesting to me. And they were like, why do some of you go past, 3 coffee shops and 3 7-Elevens to get to a Starbucks? Mm-hmm. Coffee's not better. Mm-hmm. Coffee's if anything, it costs more.
Yeah.
You're going because of the experience. They
yeah.
have branded an experience.
Yep.
You know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. They spend a lot of money on customer service. They make you feel special. Yep. Name on the cup.
Colors too.
They have a color scheme.
Yep.
They have a music scheme, a lighting scheme. You feel comfortable there. You know that you got Wi-Fi there, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so they've branded an experience. Does McDonald's make the best hamburger? No, but you know what you're going to get. Yep. And it's the same everywhere you go. And it's familiar. And so you're branding experience. Kids can play in the thing, whatever. And so they were like, what we're creating at 24 Hour Fitness is an experience. You know that the lower bodies are color coded here versus here. The people with the purple shirts are the trainer. The people with this color shirts are the salespeople. And you know how the daycare works. Whether you go in another state, another country, you feel comfortable leaving your kid there.
Ooh, good point.
They're like, we're trying to brand an experience where you're like, this is a gym that I enjoy getting my workout experience.
Yeah.
And I was just like, interesting. And so I always thought about that in the back of my head, and I thought about it for real estate as well. Like, how can I create an experience? I remember I used to do this thing where I'd put a sign like, Stewart Estates welcomes, John and Jill, and then they'd walk in for their appointment. And there's a sign for them. They're like, whoa,
shit, that's sweet.
What the heck? That's sweet. Yeah. Stuff like that just to make their experience cooler.
Yeah.
And I started Epic, and I was like, what is Epic? Because back then, first of all, MMA wasn't really a word yet.
No.
It was cage fighting.
Yep.
Like MMA was like trying to stick.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't even on TV. It was too violent.
Yeah. Dana White was trying to make it stick. Well, at this point, it was already on TV in 2010.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, he was like trying to coin the word mixed martial arts and all that stuff. I was still calling it cage fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it was still coming out of that era where they were calling it like human cockfighting and like brutal and like stuff like that. Oh yeah, that was that famous politician. What's his name? He called it that. John McCain, I think.
John McCain.
And they were like, this isn't a real sport and this and that. And so I was like, and then they would associate it with like, oh, it's violent. Like people would be nervous to go to an MMA show. Yeah. And it was just like this image of like,
underground parking with the cars, the street lights on, right?
Yeah, like rugged people smashing beer cans on their head, and I was just like BKFC. And these people were barbarians, and I was like, if you ever meet a mixed martial artist or any martial artist, they're usually like the most sophisticated. Yeah. A lot of them have successful businesses. A lot of them are prior military. Yeah. A lot of them grew up in a disciplined environment doing, taekwondo or wrestling or jiu-jitsu, whatever, and now they're combining all these other things. So they, like, I grew up doing like taekwondo, which turned into like a bunch of martial arts in that academy. We're bowing at everything. Yeah. Like it was like super like disciplined. Yeah, respect. Never start a fight, respect. Yeah. And self-esteem. And so I was like, this is like the opposite. These are like some of the most sophisticated people on the planet. These aren't the most barbaric. Like, just like any industry, cops or whatever, you're going to have bad apples. Absolutely. But overall. Remember
Kimball Slice? Remember him? He was a backyard fighter. Yeah. That's the analogy that people think like, oh, he's just going to go in there.
And if you interview anyone, if you talk to anyone that ever met Kimball Slice, they said he was the most polite, well-mannered, nicest person that you've ever met. What? Like he would give you the shirt off of his back. Wow. But all we have is the him, and then he's punching, and the guy has the eyeball like hanging out of his head or whatever. That's it. Yeah. But like he was like a super gentleman to everyone who met him. Yeah. And so
there was a stereotype that
it was a stereotype. Yeah. And it sold. You sell Kimball Slice as this like backyard street thug barbarian. Yeah. Like he did grow up in those areas, but he was a really, really nice guy, and he was a student to the game. He was like, I want to learn more. I want to learn more. His boxing style was very Mike Tyson-ish. Yes. Which you could tell he had to study that for a long time. Like those were skills that he had accumulated. He wasn't just swinging for the fences.
Well, back in those days because I know he's been fighting, well, he's dead now, but there was no MMA gyms. There was no nothing. It was just him in the backyard learning as he freaking fought every. Yeah. Sorry, I remembered Kimball Slice when you were talking about that.
So whenever I thought about like branding Epic, I was like, I want it to be known as the exact opposite, the classy place. Where if you want to throw on a blazer, if you want to put on your nice outfit, your girl could put on her best dress or her cutest outfit and her high heels. You can go out and a middle-aged couple can go and feel just as comfortable as a young couple, and it's a fun party-like environment. Yeah. It's good DJ, good music. They can go out and have a cocktail or a drink or whatever. Yeah. And And it's just going to be like a very inviting environment to where you don't have to be an MMA fan to have a good time. You could even not watch the fights and just vibe off of the energy and chat with people and go to the different booths and outside and hang out with people. And you're still going to have the time of your life. Yeah. And so that's what we created. So I wanted it to be classy and sexy. Yes. And so that's where we had all the cars there. We had all of the beautiful girls there.
Notice that, yeah.
And we would make it like a classy experience. So I was really trying to brand that. I was trying to take it home. I used to have all these signs made like, take a picture with the cars. It's part of the experience. And the E would be an epic E. Don't forget to take a picture of the backdrop. It's part of the experience. So now all the sponsors get like... in the photo, tagged and blah, blah. Hell yeah. And then, take a picture with the ring girls. It's part of the experience. Yeah. And so I was really just trying to brand an experience, which I think for most people that have been to an epic event, like I hear it all the time. I had people go to an epic event, like people have come to San Diego and done a show like the day before ours. Yeah. So big chunk of the crowd went to both. And they're like, why is this feel so cool? And why does this feel so different? Yeah. And why? And it was just like, I really put effort into that whole,
Absolutely. And I've been to the different promotions, and honestly, Epic is different. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I've been to Sparstar, and nothing against Sparstar. They're a great promotion, but I feel lost.
Oh, really?
You see what I'm saying?
I want to go. I've never been. I've always wanted to check out one.
I think they're changing it now because they used to be at the Commerce Casino all the time. So now they're doing it at somewhere different. Okay. But every time that I've gone there, I felt lost. You see what I'm saying? Like you said, when you go to a UFC fight, you're just that little person in the back. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm getting into BKFC. Like we were back there, I think we're there in January. Now we're going back next month to go see the BKFC. And the reason why I did it is because a lot of our fighters are graduating. You see what I'm saying? They started off at Epic. They started as Sparstar. Now they went pro. Now they're going to BKFC. Now, like JF Creighton, he's going to be on the card. See what I'm saying? So my whole goal here is to help promote these fighters. So now when I see Jeff Creighton on the UFC, I had him on the podcast. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that I helped him grow, but a lot of people, like promoters that, hey, who's this Jason Stewart guy? Boom. Oh, he's a fighter. Oh, he was on this podcast. You see what I'm saying? So that was my goal, is to allow these fighters to talk because they know how to fight. Right. But some of these guys don't know how to talk. And my whole thing is to get them out of that
some shell. Of them know how to talk and they never get a chance to.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
They Yeah. They're worried about training.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had Tina on here. I've had El Philly.
I love Daniel to hear Reyes. Tina talk.
Oh, man. She's a very smart woman. Yeah. Shout out to Tina Pettigrew, the Predator.
I love to hear her talk. Like you see, like that's a woman with woman struggles and with woman emotions. Yeah. And she does woman shit. Yeah. But she's also does badass MMA fighter shit, MMA coach shit,
Well, she trained Daniel Reyes. Yeah. What do you say? What do you think about that?
Yeah, one of the baddest epic fighters of all time.
Absolutely. Now, really quick, since we brought up Daniel Reyes, now that he's pro, because he was your main card, you see what I'm saying? People came to see Daniel Reyes.
Yeah, he was a big draw.
Yeah. Who's that person now?
Well, there's a lot of people that have been a big draw. I think Jaden Fugate is a huge draw. It's just like, not only is he just exciting to watch, it's easy to become a fan of his. Like he looks very young, so he looks like a kid, which he is. I think he's 20. I think he started fighting for us when he was 18. Oh wow. But he has a close family bond. Like I was at the Hindos, and he's probably going to fight this next Epic, which I'm really excited about. Okay. I think we're finding him right now. A matchup that looks good for him is actually from TJ, which those TJ fighters are tough. That's where Santiago Luna, who fought for Epic, he would train down there at Intram Gym, and those are some really good gym, very technical gyms.
Well, we've had Superman. He fought at Epic, and then he also fought in TJ at UFC Pass.
Which Superman?
Superman, Ramirez.
Daniel
Ramirez.
Oh, okay.
Right here, Superman.
Oh, Angel Ramirez.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so I didn't even see his name right there. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, what was I just telling you right now?
About.
Oh yeah, so Jaden, I was at the last event. Shout out to Dan Henderson, Hindo's Fight Night.
Yeah.
They do a dope thing up there, and I was there hanging. That's where I saw you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were there. You saw Jaden's fight.
Yeah.
And then I was right there with his family, and I got the moment like when he wins, he looks for his dad, and then he runs to his dad, and his dad's like, yeah, and he's like, see. It was like you could tell like his dad cares about him so much.
Yeah, dude.
Like every time I'm messaging him, like, hey, if you're feeling good, he's like, yeah, talk to my dad. That sounds good. And
That's good, man.
I get in back and forth with his dad, but like you see, this whole family is so tight, and they're just like, people will come from far to watch that kid fight. But we've had a lot of big draws that, some people just have an army. You know what I mean?
Well, Daniel Reyes.
Yeah, Daniel Reyes.
All you hear is Reyes.
Yeah. Well, like even Nate Ray at Victory. Matter of fact, most of the Victory fighters, like people turn out.
Yeah.
Even if it's just the gym. The gym has so many members. Like
10th Planet.
Yeah.
Like Manolo. Those
guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, they bring.
Well, Manolo brought like 100 people. Just for
Shout out to Manolo, 10th Planet.
Yeah. Just for a Hall of Fame award.
Yeah.
For Bill Crawford.
Wow.
It was just like, hey, bro, Bill's getting an award. Okay, we're all rolling
Everybody.
out. Next thing you know, you got.
Well, they're also a big culture too. They have a lot.
You got
of
the Boogeyman Martinez and his brother Gio and all those guys rolling.
Wow.
And Pearl Gonzalez in the cage, giving a speech.
Man,
and and then Manolo's the only person to ever win a Lifetime Achievement Award and an Epic Hall of Fame Award. So Epic Hall of Fame means like you were directly involved with Epic.
Yeah.
Like, fighting or coaching like champions and stuff like that. And then Lifetime Achievement Award would be like I have one for Frank Shamrock, which I think I haven't been able to give to him because every show where I'm supposed to give it to him, he doesn't show up.
Okay.
Then there was a couple shows where he showed up and didn't tell me. I was like, bro, I didn't even plan to give you the award.
Wow.
But like with him, it's like you could not be that involved with Epic at all. But like your resume speaks for itself. Yeah. Like,
You know what I've heard you say a lot? Chicharron. Hey, Chicharron, or
what do you mean?
Isn't that your new?
Chorizo?
Chorizo. I'm thinking chicharron. Maybe I'm hungry or something.
That's chorizo.
Chorizo. So you have a new, what is it called? What do they call them?
The matchmaker?
Matchmaker. Because it used to be Harvey Cast.
Yeah.
Harvey Castellano.
Yeah. Harvey's like my brother. We lived together for years, and he started off as an Epic fan and who started coming to meetings, So a really cool story and history with Harvey. For this event, we're having chorizo. William Corrales. Yeah, he's doing the matchmaking for this event.
Okay.
And he's feeling the stress that comes with the matchmaking.
There you go.
And he's spending every day calling and messaging everyone. And so we've got a lot of girl fights, and we have a bunch more girls that we're trying to match up. And we're getting close.
Okay, good.
And so we've already got 3 locked in. We've got another 3 that we could create. We could almost make it an all girls card.
I know. I was about to say that.
But yeah, so I love the girls fights, man. Yeah. It's such a treat to watch
Ruby
the
Daniels,
girls fight.
bro.
Oh,
Ruby Daniels. Kudiche, I forgot her first name.
Nancy
Kudiche.
Kudiche or Kudiche? Yeah.
Kudiche, I think. I don't know.
Nancy, we've got Carly Joe as Carly Lombardo's fighting Nancy. We've got we got Baby Bison out of Victory fighting. That's another one. She's a big draw. A lot of people want to see her fight. She's a potential to be the next big thing in the UFC.
Yeah.
And who are the other girls we got fighting? We got a few of them.
Wow.
So yeah, we've got some good fights set up on this card. It's going to be exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about girls because like they're not only are they the most viewed and all this stuff, but I remember Coach John X, who has brought a lot of really good fighters to Epic. He's one of my favorite coaches, especially like when he's teaching like kicks and striking. I learned a lot from him from that, even personally. But he told me, he's like, look in nature. Women are often in mammals. Women are often the hunters.
Yes.
And they're more ferocious, more aggressive because they protect the young. So like in bears, like the female bear has to be ready to stand up and go toe-to-toe with a male bear who's way bigger, way stronger, way more ferocious, and will die to protect its young.
Yeah.
Plus, women give birth, they have a higher pain tolerance than
Yeah.
men. That's why you see a lot of women, they'll get caught in an arm bar, they'll let the arm break and keep fighting. And it's just like, what the heck? So like, but what's interesting is almost every girl fight I've ever seen where they're in there, and they're in kill mode, they're in attack, they're in predator mode. At the end of the fight,
they switch it off.
They're hugging it out. It's like a switch where they can just boom, boom.
I don't get that part.
And a lot of fighters have it, but almost every female fighter has an extreme version of it, where it's just like, all right, I'm here to kill. I killed.
Yep.
Turn it off.
Want to go get coffee?
Yeah. Are you okay, girl? Oh my God. Let me,
Yeah. Or they dap each other up. Oh, that was a good one. Oh my God. Hell yeah. That is awesome, man.
So something about watching a woman who has this, everyone thinks of the woman as the nurturer, which they are.
Yeah.
But and then they say, oh, well, the males are the protectors. But you look in nature, women are just as much, if not more, protectors.
Well, because the male is out there hunting and bringing food.
Yeah. So the women has to be able to protect. Like in some mammals, the dad stays there, but a lot of them they don't.
Yeah.
So the women have to be able to to crush and destroy and defend, and they're willing to die. Versus the males are like, I'm not dying for no one. I'm just trying to survive. If I have to run away, I can. The women's like, I can't run away because I have the cubs.
Yeah, men can populate with somebody else and like I can get another bear. Right. But anyway, what's up, player? So. Thank you again, Jason, for everything that you've done. Now, what I did yesterday is I actually posted his picture on Instagram and YouTube, and I asked the audience, ask some questions.
Okay.
And they responded.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so I got some subscriber questions for Jason. We do that as part of the show. Some of the people that were out there, they asked you a couple questions, and then if you don't mind, let me ask you a couple of them. Maybe you can answer back to them. So if you're watching, you ask Jason a question, he's about to answer it here in a second. Okay? All right, here's the first question. What is the best way for a new fighter to get noticed by a promotion? Subscriber question.
Yeah, the best way for a new fighter to get noticed by a promotion is you have to think of it as, like you are the product. You're marketing yourself.
Yeah.
And so whatever you can do to get more eyeballs on yourself, whether that's through your social media, making videos. Some people are good at making content.
Be on the podcast.
Yeah, go on podcasts. Yeah. Tell your story. None of that is a substitute for skill.
Of course not.
Right?
Yeah.
But there are fighters who are not the best fighters. Some have a 50-50 record or close to it, who promotions will pick them up. So like me as a promoter, I'm relying so much on ticket sales, right? Because I don't have millions coming in through pay-per-view. Yeah. So I'm relying so much on ticket sales. If there's a fighter that's mediocre at fighting, they have to be good enough or they won't even allow them to fight, right? But they're, 50-50 record, but they sell a lot of tickets. And this guy who's a badass who can destroy everyone, but he doesn't sell any tickets, you want both.
It's a business.
You want both. One of them pays the bills. Yeah. One of them is going to be cool to say you got the next, UFC fighter and all that stuff. Yeah. And so we take them both, and we never make our fighters sell tickets. However, the guy who brings a big crowd. So like I remember in the first few epics, I would do as much marketing for these fighters as I could by like it was literally like going to their Facebook, finding their mom, finding their uncle, finding their sister, making a post about that person, not only tagging him, but tagging his mom, tagging his sister. And it'd be like, oh my God, I didn't know little Johnny was even fighting. Like some of these people don't even want their family to know. Yeah, they don't want the pressure of like, I don't want my mom to get nervous. I don't want to be embarrassed if it doesn't go my way. Yeah. And so they're like secret agent, no one's going to, I don't want any of my coworkers
Jason's
to know.
A snitch.
So I'm going to snitch him out, and I'm going to be like, more sales. Everybody. I found out where he worked. I tagged his manager. I tagged his company. Damn. And it was just like, get those people out there.
Yeah, see, now he got the day off. Hey, boss, I got to go fight. Yep, I saw the post. Yeah. Go.
But like when you think about it, like you take a fighter in the UFC. Yeah. Outside of that person's gym and family. Yeah. The only reason anyone knows of them is because UFC did a good job telling their story.
That's it.
And so as a promotion, it's the better we could tell their story, the better. But also as a fighter, the better they could tell their own story.
Yeah.
And so what I used to tell people every time we would do these, like we're doing these interviews on Friday and Saturday over at Real Deal JD's, right? And I would say, okay, anything in your life that will make someone laugh or cry, tell it and think hard. And it's probably not going to be MMA related. Yeah. Your mom went to jail. You were a straight A student. You were a fuck up kid. Yeah. Like whatever it is. So I remember I was with a fighter and, you know, I tell him that. And he was just like, yeah, no, my life was pretty normal. It's pretty cool. No, good parents, good this, good that. And I'm going through and I'm just trying to pull stuff, I was just really good at wrestling. I got a scholarship and this and that.
So those pretty things.
And then so I was just like, okay, that was cool. And then afterwards it was like, okay, let's get your photo. He takes his shirt off. He has a scar from here to here. I was like, what's that scar from? He's like, oh, so I had cancer. And they found out I had cancer when I was on the wrestling team. I was still winning fights, but I was getting really tired and it was getting harder to win my matches. And then they diagnosed me. I had all this cancer. I had to take half the season off. I went through chemo. They had to cut out this big old tumor. Then I came back the next season and I still started winning fights after I healed from my surgery. And I was like, you didn't think to say that during your interview? Yeah. Do you know how interesting that is? Do you know how much adversity you came over? How inspiring that is to people? Yep. How many people who have cancer, that's like a story that will motivate them? Yeah. Like, but they don't think of that.
Absolutely.
You know, and I had a bunch of stuff like that too, where I was on a podcast once with Ruben Torres and he had kept probing and asking me questions about my childhood and my mom and this and that. Yeah. And then next thing you know,
you're both crying.
Well, no, like I was just answering it matter of factly. Like I've never been the most emotional guy. And then like I said something I realized I'd never told anyone on publicly. And not because I was ashamed of anything, it just never came up. Yeah. And I was just like, oh yeah, my mom was in my mom got shot in 85. My mom sent me to my aunt's because we were living in South Bronx and it was getting pretty dangerous. I saw her get mugged and stuff. Wow. And then she was supposed to make a few drug deals. And I think that part I had told. And then she got shot. And then she ended up in the hospital for 3 years. But the part that I had never told was when she got shot and ended up in the hospital, they found out she had AIDS. And she was like the longest living person who got AIDS in that time period. Yeah. And so then she was in the hospital for 3 years and then she got out, came back and got me, escaped the hospital. It's a whole thing. And then she lived the rest of her life with AIDS and stuff like that. And so many people were like, I never knew that about you. And then I ended up turning like my life story into this marketing company talked me into sending it to my real estate clients. I was like, I don't want to say that vulnerable personal stuff. What's that got to do with real estate? I want to talk about how good I am at marketing and negotiation. They're like,
it's the human aspect.
So they talked me into it. I sent that out. It was like a 2-page newsletter. Bro, I was getting calls every day because I have a big database, thousands of people. I was getting calls because some people didn't check their mail right away or they would put it on the coffee table, read it later. For 6 months, I would get a call every day from someone crying. Like, bro, I had no idea. Like, you're my realtor for life and like stuff like that. I was just like, wow, this marketing company was so right. So that's the type of stuff, to go full circle, that you guys need to share about your story because people need to care. It doesn't matter if they love you. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they hate you. The difference between love is not hate. Yeah. The opposite of love is indifference. And so love or hate you, they're still emotionally bound. You can't hate someone unless you love them. Like if you know, I hate my ex. You hate your ex because you love them. Yeah. When you're really over your ex, you're indifferent to that person. Like indifference is the opposite. And you do not want indifference when it comes to marketing and promotion. Wow. You want them to love or hate you.
There you go. That was a good ass answer. Let's go to another one. How important? Let me see. Okay, what's one thing every amateur fighter should do right now? If you were to give them advice,
yeah. So a lot of people when they're training for a fight. So first of all, everything that we just talked about, promote yourself, think of your story. I think so. That's number one. Number two, visualize why you're doing this, what your goal is. Yeah. Is it going to be that you're going to be an epic champion? Is it going to be that you're going to have cool stories to tell your kids? Is it going to be that you're going to be the UFC champ? Like whatever it is, like think of why. Is this going to be something that you feed your whole family with? Start visualizing what it looks like. Yeah. You're endorsed by these people. You get paid by this route, and this route. A side note on that is you can make just as much, if not more money as an amateur fighter than a pro.
Yes.
Because people want to support you. Like, we have more people than most pro events. And like I don't know how many tickets Daniel Reyes sold to his event, but it probably wasn't more than he sold for an Epic event. Yeah. Right. So it's not like you can't, the fights are just as exciting. You know what I mean? And so, so that's another thing, like monetize it. Yeah. Ask people, hey, can you pay me $500 a month, $100 a month to support me? I'll put you on my shorts and my shirt when I work out. I'll give you a shout out on my Instagram, whatever it may be. Think of different ways to add value. The other thing is, so visualize, that's the one. And then, the other thing is, do your workouts that reinforce and accumulate skills.
Okay.
So many people spend so much time on strength and conditioning, which is great. You need that. Most of the fights you lose are going to be skill issues. Yeah. And you can get just as much strength and conditioning in through skill training. What do I mean by that? Dean Lister said it best, and I used to talk about this all the time. And when Dean said it, I was like, thank you. They were asking Dean Lister when he had went back. He was about to compete in the Abu Dhabi again. So he was the first non-Brazilian to win it. He won it twice back to back. He didn't compete there for 10 years or whatever. Went back. They were like, obviously he's not going to win now. The people are too good. Yeah. He's out of his prime this night. Goes back and wins it again. During that hype up, they said, what does your strength and training look like? He's like, you know what? I used to have, do strength and conditioning classes and have strength and conditioning coaches. He's like, I just decided that I get a lot of strength and conditioning from grappling. And why not just spend more time perfecting the craft? That's all you're going to be doing. Like, if you want to get good at running, you could do leg extensions and leg press and this and that and plyometrics till you're blue in the face. But at the end of the day, the guy who ran the most is probably going to beat you in the race. Yeah. And that's how I feel like you get conditioning from sparring. Yes. You get conditioning from hitting and kicking a bag. You get conditioning from grappling and doing the drills over and over. You can hit that max. And so you don't have, so a lot of people will come in and it's just like, you know what? I have a few moves, but most of my time was spent swinging a sledgehammer, sprinting hills and doing this stuff. It's like, okay, but what's a little bit more closely related is jump rope, maybe, because that's a little more like the movement.
Yes, we do that in boxing.
Right, that's why boxers do so much time jump roping, because that does get you good on your toes. And then shadow boxing, and then hitting a bag, and then sparring, and then doing drills back and forth and hitting mitts. Yeah, that's the stuff that gets you good, and it's tons of strength, tons of conditioning. Yeah. So I tell people accumulate skills, because you can get in really, really good shape. Yeah. Say you're in wrestling and you get in good shape and you can win some matches because maybe you're in better shape than the other person. But if it's close and the other person has more skills than you, the skills are going to make you'll lose more fight because you couldn't finish a takedown because you didn't have a counter to the combo than you will because you didn't have the conditioning. Yeah. Especially some of these shorter 2-minute rounds. Don't get me wrong. You need to be in phenomenal shape to fight for a minute straight, 2 minutes straight. Phenomenal. Much less 6 minutes.
Imagine 5 minutes in the
Well, wrestling is the craziest, conditioning in the world, but they can also get it through doing the wrestling. Yeah. Shadow wrestling, shadow boxing, shadow striking, real grappling with people, I don't recommend going hard and sparring too much. I feel like that should be reserved more for the fight as much as possible. Yeah. Different coaches have different opinions on that. Wow. But that's my advice on that.
Absolutely.
Accumulate skills, because your strength and conditioning can go away in 2 weeks without working out. Yeah. Your cardio is not what it was in 2 weeks, but you'll never forget how to pull off that arm bar from guard or pull off that submission from mount. Yeah.
This is an off-topic question, but they asked this one. Maybe they were looking at you as the business owner, the entrepreneur. Why do most people fail before they ever see results?
The 3 feet from gold method, because they quit. They quit before they see results. Yeah. So,
and that's in anything, working out, fighting, business, everything, right?
Yeah. So I got a friend who, a lot of talent in all types of different things. He's accumulated a lot of skills. Yeah. And he would start something and then it was shiny object. And he would start something and shiny object. And he would start this and shiny object. And then he ended up getting a partner. Biggest contribution, I feel, was saying, hey, shut the hell up. We're sticking with this. Yes. cool idea. We might go for that once we get this. All right, we could play with that as long as it doesn't interrupt this. And him sticking with this, and don't get me wrong, it would shift and change that this would kind of do this, but it wasn't stopping completely and starting a whole new thing.
Yeah.
You know, he would go from barbering to video to SEO to this,
it's too
to
much.
working with these types of people to working with, and then he just niched it down. And he went from homeless shortly before I met him to, you know, like Section 8 housing, like having a goal of making you know, $10,000 in a month. To him and his partner did over, you know, hundreds of thousands in a month. You know, all because he stuck with one thing.
That's it. I always say master one thing and become a beginner at other things. But everybody wants to be masters at everything at once. It's too much.
You know, like your wife just talked about SEO. If she was always trying to, I do SEO and I do this and I do this. Don't add an and until this is up and running and crushing it. You know what I mean? And so I had a friend who kind of almost owned like a boiler room. Like, you know, he would sell like supporting. Well, I have a friend and he has that business, and it was just like support the local football team, support the local, you know, water polo team for your local high school. And people would pay money to be on like this poster and say that they supported. It was a write-off, the whole thing. And I came there several times and said, hey guys, I have these epic sponsorships. I'm going to pay you guys a great commission if you sell it. You're supporting these young fighters. I would tell the whole pitch. I would show them the deck, whatever. And then nothing. And then I would come back like a year later and be like, hey, this is what we got. You know, you guys on your spare time, sell this. And then after him, because he had just like bought this business. And so he's like, I've learned, after like the third time doing it, he's like, I've learned something about salespeople. You ask him to sell one thing, your mediocre guy will sell 100,000 of that one thing. Pretty much everyone in there is going to sell at least 100,000 of that one thing. You sell them two things, you think they'll do at least 50,000 of both, maybe 60,000 of both. They sell 0 of each. And I started thinking
or a small percentage,
and I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? In real estate, I would teach a lot of the classes, and I would tell people like, it takes at least 10 follow-ups before you have business. You could get someone to a yes. Like even right now, we're selling commercials for like $20. It's like a no-brainer, right? So someone will call and be like, yo, I'm in. Like I know commercials are $350 on Fox. I want them for $20. They gave you a yes off the bat. You still might need to follow up with that person 10 times before you actually have the money in hand and you guys actually have done business with each other because whatever. Get back to me after this and that. Okay. I got a few more questions. Okay. Can I pay this way? And it's just like the amount of times you need to follow up with someone just to get the yes. And then the amount of follow through to get from the yes to where the money is actually collected. It's just like, so if you need to do at least 10 times and you're focused on multiple things and you're doing 5 here and 5 here, you never pass that 10, which for a lot of times is the minimum to get to the yes. And so that's the big thing is like you have to commit. And then a lot of people don't know what real work is. Some people are lacking skill, but most of that you can learn. There's just too much knowledge out there. Watch YouTube videos of people that have done it. Shadow people who've done it. Chat GPT it. There's just like too much. There's never going to be an information problem in our lives. It's just resourcefulness. Like, are you getting the resources and are you learning the skills? My daughter's on the phone. When I pulled up, when you saw me outside, I heard you. My daughter was on the phone. Hey, this guy says that he's seen you and that he already does business with Bada Fulkerson, who's a sponsor and does commercials. And sounds like he wants to do sponsorship and commercials too. He owns this drone company, this and that. And it sounded like it went really well. And it's just like, I was role playing with her before I left the house. Like, this is how you have the conversation. These are the questions they ask. When they ask, this is how you answer. And it's just a skill thing.
Baby, you got 9 more calls to follow up with them. It's not
and how many calls did you make? Like, you're sharpening the saw, but you're also sawing. You can have the sharpest saw in the world, but you still got to go back and forth 100 times before you cut that branch.
Oh yeah, man. I know the whole thing, man. Brings me back to my young days, man. Now, thank you so much for subscriber questions, for you falling in. Now we have what's called rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
So one answer, boom, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up and we'll get you out of here because I know this guy's a busy person. So here we go. Dream car you don't own yet. He's probably had all of them.
It's almost any 3-seater. So it's rare for me to. There's been a lot of times where I've been with 2 people, but wanted to take the Lambo.
You need one more seat.
And I just needed one more seat. So there is a McLaren.
The P1.
And then there's also, but the P1 was like so out of super expensive. They're like $3 million or whatever. But something like that. There's also this car that this guy made in Florida. It's like American made. He makes some pretty dope ones. He makes some 3-seater versions of that. I've been thinking about that one, but basically the driver's in the middle, and then you got someone sitting to your left, someone sitting to your right.
We have the Speedtail. The Speedtail McLaren.
Yeah.
It's a 3-seater.
I think McLaren has made a couple. Yeah. So a supercar with 3 seats. That's the one that I don't have that I would like to have. But the family's still growing. I had another baby. So really like you want to hear something funny? So I have an Escalade. It's 3 rows. And so we were in.
So that's what, 7-seater, 8-seater?
It's a 7-seater. Okay. You can have the 8-seater model, but we have the captain seats. We were in Hawaii and there was it's called a Kia Carnival. We rented it. And the back just like dipped down to where the luggage went down low and then you could stack more on top. And it was so roomy and we had so much fun driving around the island. Yeah. And then every island we went to when we ordered an Uber, it was usually a Kia Carnival. So we're in it. And it was so comfortable. I was like, so I came back and it's like a minivan, but it looks like an SUV. But it slides, the doors slide like a minivan. Yeah. And everyone in the family was like, we got to get one of these. We got to get one of these. So they're so much more affordable. I started asking ChatGPT, buy it used with this many mile, and it's literally less than half the price as a same year, same mile Escalade. Wow. And so I don't know. I might get something like that. But definitely third row vehicle for me is a big thing. Like I wish the Rolls Royce had it. So if I wanted to combine both, a supercar, that exotic car that fits everyone, but they're still 5-seaters. Yeah. I had the Bentley Bentayga. Oh, that was the one that I forgot to mention. Yeah. The Bentayga. I know there's so many cars that I forgot to mention.
Yeah. No, that's all good.
But there was a third row vehicle and then a 3-row supercar.
First car you ever had?
First car I ever had was a Toyota Camry.
Toyota, what year?
V6, 1990. I want to say 96, but I bought it in 98. So it could have been a couple years older. I remember it had 80,000 miles, and the salesman was a Russian guy, and he was like trying to convince me about 80,000 is nothing for Toyota. No. It's nothing for Toyota. That's easy. And I remember I had a bunch of cash strapped to my leg. Yeah. I was a busser, and my mom was a drug dealer, so we we were always cash heavy. Yeah. And I had and they were like, well, how are you going to pay for this car? How are you going to put the down payment for this car? And I forgot. I don't remember if we paid cash for the car, but I remember it was at least 10,000 was strapped to the inside of the leg. And I'm like reaching into my crotch and pulling it out. I'm like, and he was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Which in 90.
That was a lot of money.
98 was like a big deal.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Now a car will cost you 80,000 from start.
Yeah, exactly.
Favorite fighter of all time?
Probably Anderson Silva.
Okay. Spider.
Anderson the Spider Silva. Yeah. I just loved his style. I loved how he thought he was a superhero. As far as boxers, I love the boxers that would move around and play. Yeah. There was
Model Metal.
The Drunken Master. Yeah. There was that other guy. And then Sugar Ray Robinson was probably my favorite boxer of all time. I consider him the greatest boxer that ever lived. He won multiple titles in multiple weight classes. He fought like 180 fights or something crazy, won almost all of them. I mean, he was incredible. Even Muhammad Ali admitted that he was better than him. Yeah. But yeah, I love the Anderson Silva, man. Those were like the glory days where he was just so skilled.
He's a boxer now.
How can you beat Hendo? Hendo's also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Hendo beat the greats. You know, he was just like Chael Sonnen had a funny like quote story about him. They were like, they would bring professional boxers to come, and as expected, the professional boxers, that's all they do. Like they would light us up and we're sparring with them with no other weapons, just boxers. He said, so all of us MMA fighters would have to take our ass whooping in boxing from the boxers. He's like, except Dan Henderson. Whatever they had in skills, he would neutralize that with power. Yeah. So they couldn't dance around and do all this because if they fucked around, they'd get hit. And if they got hit by him, one of his hits was like 50 of their hits.
Did you ever see Dan Henderson on Joe Rogan show?
Yeah.
That was a good interview. Yeah. He fought three times in one night. He's like, well, if I win the third one, I'll get an extra $20,000. Okay, I'm going to win it. So he won all three.
Insane.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I interviewed him. Frank Shamrock and Chris Lieben on stage at an event that I put together called the Epic Mastermind Experience. And it was so cool. Like, it was supposed to be a sports panel.
Yeah.
And we had a tennis athlete, a BMX athlete, and another athlete, and all of them didn't make it. Like, one got cold feet, stage fright. So now I'm like, I guess it's an MMA panel. Yeah. That's cool for me. I own Epic Fighting. This is even kind of cooler. And so I had 3 legends who I like looked up to. Me and Chris Lieben were already close friends at the time.
Oh, cool.
But I had always looked up to all 3 of them. Like, these were like the guys. Chris Lieben was one of my favorite fighters to watch. Shamrock was one of my all-time favorites. Yeah. And so it was interesting. So I asked them as I'm interviewing them, like, actually I had no, you know what? I think that was Frank Trigg. Okay. Dan Henderson I interviewed later with Frank Shamrock at Secret Knock. So it was Frank Trigg and Chris Lieben and Shamrock. And so I asked Frank Trigg, he's a UFC Hall of Famer too, what got you into MMA? And he was like, this guy. But keep in mind, none of these 3 had ever met. Yeah. They had never met Shamrock. And he was like, Frank Shamrock. Yeah. I saw what he did. I saw that he had like a wrestling background, but he had a high fight IQ. He was beating all American wrestlers who were better wrestlers than him with his, technique. Yeah. And he's like, that got me into it. And then Chris Lieben, he was like Frank Shamrock. That's how I got into it. And he was just like, both of those guys attributed them becoming MMA fighters to Frank Shamrock. Wow. Which was really, really cool.
You know, what's funny is when I was in the Marine Corps, we have a program called MECMAT, Marine Corps Martial Arts Training. And once you get your green belt, they send you to Quantico to get your black belt. So I got my green belt, went to Quantico. I was there for 2 weeks. And Ken Shamrock handed us our black belts.
Really?
Yeah. So I remember we're in formation, and then the instructor comes out. He goes, all right, when somebody's going to walk out right now, he goes, don't get a hard on. And I'm like, get a hard on? What the fuck are you talking about? Who's walking out? A butt naked chick, right? So sure enough, we're in formation, and then Ken Shamrock, his back is this wide. Yeah. Fucking waist is this small.
People don't realize he was in a bodybuilding. He could bench 500 pounds.
Yeah. Guy walks out, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting a hard on because it was Ken Shamrock. So I actually have a picture. I'm going to actually post it. Him handing me my black belt because we had to do a 2-week course for black belts.
That's cool.
So I know, I don't know him, but I know I've been with Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've been with Frank Shamrock.
And they were both adopted by the Shamrock guy who kind of like, with all the kids, he had like a whole stable of young boys that he adopted, and he would teach them, work ethic. Yep. You're going to train. You're going to learn how to fight because that helps you with your character.
It's like the Gracie brothers.
Yeah.
Like the Gracie. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Early morning workouts or late workouts?
I prefer early morning, but I'll get it in where I can. So, I feel like if you get your workout in the morning, I'm a big thing on the big rock analogy. So you've got a jar, and you've got a big rock, and then you've got regular size rocks, and then you got pebbles, you got sand, and then you got water. Mm-hmm. The biggest rock is the most important thing you could do that day. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, that's your workout. Maybe you're in a stage of your life where it's, do something for your business because if, you need to do that, or, something like that. So that should go in first. And then your other rocks are the most important tasks of the day. Yep. And the pebbles are like, if they happen today, great. They're important, not urgent. Mm-hmm. And then you have your sand, which is kind of like the bullshit. And then the water would be like even more bullshit. Mm-hmm. And so if you go biggest to smallest, everything could fit in the jar. If you go smallest to biggest, you'll never fit. Not only the big rock won't fit, but the other rocks won't fit. And so many people put their workout off to other stuff, and then the day fills in, and the end of the day comes, and you never got that workout, or you never made that most important call because you were texting back and dealing with bullshit, or you got distracted on Instagram. You went on there to make a post, which would have been a pebble or maybe even a regular size rock, but now you're scrolling, which is sand or maybe even water. It's just bullshit. And so you get the biggest rocks in first, and then the sand and everything else can fit in. Absolutely. Like you'll squeeze in your 30 minutes to watch your TV show and stuff, but the other way around just never works.
What's funny is, again, to bring up the Marine Corps, our rock was to make your bed. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing we got to do. Make your bed. I don't 100%. Care. You got to make, because at the end of the day, when you don't finish those sands, at least when you come back home, that rock's already.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. You make the bed and you're already in a groove. Yeah. I used to do this thing called 10 before 10.
Okay.
And so I would try to do 10 productive things before 10 o'clock. And if you do that, you won your day. Like you're having an all-star day.
Yeah. Ours is 6 o'clock. You got to do 6 miles before 6 o'clock.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. All right, get up. You got to go. Like this morning, right before you came, I went on a 20-mile bike ride.
Really?
So I said, you know what? He's going to be here at 9. If to take me now. Boom, I was on the bike.
Hell yeah.
Just chilling. I came back, showered, set this up. Boom, you're here.
I love that.
So I can say now that I'm done here, because once you leave, I got to do all the production and all that. So,
right.
So my biking was my rock.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because how good do you feel after you work out?
Yeah, you feel good.
Yeah.
You feel that sense of accomplishment.
Endorphins,
you
everything.
keep that going versus thinking in the back of your head, like, should I take a break from this productive thing I'm doing, which for you is going to be editing this or whatever, and squeeze in my workout?
Yeah.
But then it's going to distract me from this thing.
Hell yeah.
There's this rule where, like, it often takes people up to 20, 30 minutes sometimes to get in their zone.
Yeah.
And when they're in their zone, they're just more productive at that thing. What happens with most of us is we get distracted here, and we never get in the zone.
Yeah.
So we're like starting to approach the zone, start over, starting to approach the zone, start over. So they say you should do 45 to 90 minute blocks where you just focus on doing, like, I'm just going to follow up with people for 90 minutes. I'm just going, and even like playing with your kids, it's like, set 90 minutes where you guys are going to pass the ball, have fun, swim in the pool, whatever it is, and then get back to work. And that 90 minutes will be more fun and more memorable to that kid than just like being with them all day, but you're still, doing this, doing that, doing the other.
Got you.
Or even 45 minutes.
What's next for epic fighting?
So with Epic, my biggest goal is to create reoccurring income.
Okay.
And we've come close to maxing it out, but we could push it a little bit further, and then I just have to be creative and think of a new way to create more. The reoccurring income is what kind of keeps us alive.
Yeah.
So right now we've got sponsors. It's reoccurring income. If you go to epicfighting.com/sponsor, you can see all about it, but it's like $2,000 a month. And that typically sells out. I try to make room by pulling one of my companies off of the sponsorship. Like, I don't need to promote Epic Exotics right now. So we have an opening because I've either sold it or at least but that kind of sells out. Like, it's not scalable. I really admire those scalable businesses that have no limit. And then we have, then I came up with this idea. So that was the game changer of what made Epic profitable, by the way. Sponsors commit to a year. Once they commit to a year, we know we've got them, most likely statistically, we've got them for potentially life, but definitely like years.
Yes.
Because we've already figured out how to add enough value. Yeah. It used to be show per show. You print them on everything. You print them on the cage floor. I'm out of town this next show, but count me in for the next one. I'm like, you're on the cage floor. I got to spend $5,000 to reprint the cage floor. We were going to use that same one for the next year.
Yeah.
And you're already on the backdrop. What am I going to do? Duct tape your thing
right?
on there? And like, you're on everything. Yeah. And so when I said, hey, you can pay monthly. Yeah. We started doing the shows every 3 months. So you're going to get 3 payments in before the show. That'll be enough to pay for your sponsor. And you're committing for a year or else you can't sponsor.
Exactly.
Everybody said yes. And we went from like a 50, 60% renewal rate. I mean, it was interesting because most of them would stick with us long term, but not every show. Yeah. That was problematic. So where they stick with us and they just pay. And it's like, if you're out of town that time, you utilize your table another way. And there's lots of ways to utilize your table for your benefit. Then I started doing with the VIP tables where they pay monthly. We call it a legacy table. You got your name on there. You don't pay as much as a sponsor where you got your logo on the fighter shorts and the cage. Yes. But you get your shot out. You're on the seating chart. Wow. And then we started doing the commercials. And so we got the commercials. So we're either on TV for free or close to it. So like if I sell 3 minutes of TV commercials in our 30-minute episodes, I'm going to lose a little bit of money, but I'm on TV, 10, 20 times a week. Yes. That's okay. If I do about 5 minutes, then I'm going to break even. I'm on TV for free. If I do 7 minutes, I got a little reoccurring revenue. That's profit. They could go towards the company. Even better. But we're on TV a lot on CBS, Fox, and everything. Yep. And so that creates potential reoccurring revenue or free exposure. Yeah, absolutely. And so those are kind of the 3 reoccurring things. And my goal is just to increase that. I would like to double and then eventually more than triple it. Of course. So I got to figure out, maybe there's some subscription model. Maybe there's something that we could do with our content.
ChatGPT, man.
Yeah. Just I talk to ChatGPT all the time.
That's my best friend, man.
And then of course I want to start doing the pro-am shows. And my thing is like, I want the first dibs who like, cause maybe our first pro-am, we only do 4 pro fights and the rest amateurs. Daniel Reyes is his first pick. The people who won their belt and defended it multiple times, I get so sick of all of these fighters who they get an opportunity at the belt. Sometimes it's by default. Sometimes you weren't even supposed to get it, but it was a championship guy got injured. You were the only person that could fill it. Then you win the belt.
And you forget.
And then it's like, okay, or maybe the guy you were supposed to fight got switched out and you fought a lower level guy, you know, something like that. Yeah. And then you never want to fight again because you're scared to lose that belt. It's like, no, bro, you got to defend the belt.
Okay.
I used to have a rule where you had to defend it twice to keep it. And Harvey was like, no, every time they defend it, give them another belt. I'm like, these belts aren't cheap. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you would surrender your belt to the next person.
Yeah, it's like, bro, if you're not going to defend it, we're taking your belt, we're giving it to someone else. Shit. Like, you need to defend it, you know?
Wow.
And but lately we've been letting them not only keep the belt, but they'll win multiples. Belts, they're cool belts. But yeah, my thing is like, I'm going to reward the guys who defended the belt multiple times. That's who I want as our pro fighters. The guys that didn't shy away and be like, okay, I'm going to go collect belts, and every time I win a belt, I'm never going to defend it.
Yeah. That's why I always say, if I ever win a belt, I'm not going to defend. I'm just going to retire. It was like, where's my belt? It's right here, bro. It's mine. It's mine. And one of the famous questions that we always ask, would you rather step on a Lego or get leg kicked? Now, earlier you said you don't feel any pain, so I'm pretty sure you're going to be...
Leg kick.
Your leg kick? You'd rather get a leg kick than step in a Lego?
Well, not only do I have a higher pain tolerance, but I remember when leg kicks did hurt. Yeah. I could take it probably better than the average person. Okay. But that was something that I worked up to. Oh, got it. So what I used to do with I worked up to it through some sparring and this and that. But mainly what gave me what gave me my high tolerance to leg kicks was I used to train my daughter. My daughter used to fight. Yep. At the end of every session, the session wasn't over until I fell. And the way she would make me fall was through kicking the leg. And so I would teach her, probably your best strategy is to pick one spot on one leg and try to hit the exact same spot over and over and over. And then this is where technique matters because you could do one with minimal effort, perfect technique. It's going to hurt me worse than all of your effort and your technique's not great. So then you could get tired before me. So I can't tell you the amount of people that I've had leg kick me and it hurts their shin after multiple kicks before it hurts my legs. There you go. And I tell them, like, you know what? You shouldn't even throw that kick because if they have the condition, if they're even close to my conditioning, they're going to take that kick and blast you with a punch once they realize it doesn't hurt that bad. And so, the Lego would hurt me a lot more than the leg kick just because I worked up to it.
Well, I know you have children and grandchildren, and guess what? You step on that Lego at 2:00 in the morning trying to take a piss. Yeah. What's going on, right? Yeah. And the last question we have for you, and I ask all the fighters this question is, if you had to fight a Ninja Turtle, who would it be and why?
Ooh. So I don't know if you know this about Ninja Turtles, but each Ninja Turtle's weapon was given to them by Master Splinter for a specific reason. So Donatello is really into technology. He likes everything complicated. They gave him the most simple weapon, a stick, right? The bow staff. Michelangelo is the most careless. He's the type of person who's just like careless, disorganized. And so if he's careless with the nunchucks, he hurts himself. So it forces him to focus and stay disciplined. Leonardo was the one who was given the sword because the sword is the easiest to kill someone with. Yeah. And so he's given the responsibility to, like, you're the leader. You can't just go and kill someone, but you're the one that has the ability to do it when needed. Yep. And then Raphael has the greatest temper. So they gave him a weapon that's made for defense. The sais are made to defend against swords. It's a defense weapon, not an offense weapon. And so he's so crazy, he wants to, like, screw that guy. And he has this temper where he wants to attack everything. No, you just get to defend. Wow. Yeah. So I think if I had to fight any of them, a Ninja Turtle?
A Ninja Turtle. 3 rounds, 2 minutes each.
Damn.
That's a famous question we always ask.
Yeah, I don't know why the first person that came up and it keeps coming up is Michelangelo.
Michelangelo? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why though.
I'm
pretty good at nunchucks. Yeah. And so Michelangelo's the one I looked up to, and I got really good at nunchucks as a kid. I'm still pretty good with nunchucks. I was the best in my neighborhood, and there were a couple adults who were like black belts, high level, been doing it their whole lives, and I would always challenge them to nunchucks, and I left my neighborhood undefeated in nunchuck
Nunchuckery?
We called it, nunchuckery. And so, I think I would fight him.
Hell yeah. Everybody always picks Donatello. And the same thing you said earlier, Nasty Nate said the exact same thing about the Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Because he reads the books and he's a big Ninja Turtle nerd.
So one of my favorite, my son, when he was younger, or a few years ago, we started like throwing him in there to interview some fighters.
Yeah.
Like, let's just, see, like, you're always looking, with podcasts, you're always looking for those diamonds, diamonds in the rough, that thing. And he started saying, if you could fight any superhero, who would it be? Who's your favorite superhero? If you could have any superpower.
Yeah.
And then he had that conversation with Nasty Nate. And some of the answers were so cool.
They were so good, yes.
It was like, whoa. And he was just like, I'd probably be One Punch Man because then I could just end the fight real easily.
Yeah.
He's like, but then you wouldn't feel like you had a sense of accomplishment because you didn't have to work to finish this, that. And he's like, that's okay. I'll go home.
I'll go home early.
But it started turning into some pretty deep, profound,
he's into all that stuff, man. Yeah.
And JJ, my son, he's 10 years old, and he's asking those questions, and the fighters, like, they had some legit answers about the superheroes and superpowers and stuff like that.
Awesome. Well, Jason, we are done, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me,
absolutely.
man.
I had a great time. I learned a lot from this guy, man. So it's not just Jason, the guy running around Epic. I mean, there's a big story behind you, where you came from, how you started, everything, man. So I was very intrigued. Like I said earlier on the show, is I look up to this guy because, not that I'm trying to be with you, but it's all about respect. Mm-hmm. Once you get to a certain level, it's like, I know that.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming out here, but nobody leaves empty-handed. So one of the things we do in all the shows is, if you look back there, you can see I was in the Marine Corps. I'm actually retired from the Marine Corps.
I just learned that about you on the podcast of us having this conversation.
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps and I'm retired. So what I like to do is I like to give everybody a piece of me. So you see that we actually use dog tags in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And the dog tag says I was on the podcast, a Mouthguard Out Podcast, hosted by the Tailor. And that's my name, the Tailor.
Oh, I was wondering why I said the Tailor.
Yeah. Right, and the reason I got that name is because every time I go to the fights, I'm always in a suit. So everybody's like, bro, you should be a tailor. You're a tailor. I said, dude, I like that name. So now when I box, I'm the Tailor. So when I'm doing the hosting, I'm the Tailor. So anyway, so hell, good story, man. Good
Fun
story.
Business lessons. Yeah, I got so many more stories that we got to do this again. I can tell you when Junior Dos Santos whooped my ass. He's on this next fight card.
Okay.
So I'm really excited to see him fight. He was in San Diego for a while, hung out with him a few times. And then... so many cool stories that I want to come back and relate. And also there's so much more I want to learn about you.
Okay,
that we haven't delved into. So
absolutely,
let's do this again soon, bro.
Well, you said you invited me to your podcast, The Real Deal.
Oh yeah, come on to that.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, that's JD's podcast that we've been having all the fighters on. So this Friday and Saturday from 7 a.m. to, I think our last one is 10:45. So we're trying to schedule like 15 minutes. So it's not as long form as this.
Yeah.
We're trying to get out as much as we can in 15 minutes.
I'll go check it out. I won't be on it, but I just want to just see so I can meet JD, because I know this guy. I've seen him many times. I just want to know more people. But again, Jason, thank you so much, brother. Once again, guys, we have Jason Stewart, Epic Fighting. How can they reach out to you guys for tickets or whatever you want to?
EpicFighting.com has all the information, whether you want to partner with us or you want to buy tickets to the show. And then the Instagram is @EpicFighting, and my personal one is @Jason O Stewart. O is for Omar. So Jason O Stewart.
And I am going to be scrolling your information through the whole show, so they'll do
I'm on
that.
TikTok. Epic Fighting is on TikTok as well. I think it's Epic Fighting MMA. We're on YouTube. We've got over 11,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
What is our YouTube? Epic Fighting USA, I think. But yeah.
Well, it'll be scrolling here.
It'll be there.
Cool. Well, really quick, now that I gave you a gift and you blessed me, I need a gift from you.
Sure.
So let me borrow the Ferrari for the weekend. No, I'm just playing. I need you to bless the table like everyone else has blessed the table, brother.
Snaps.
Yeah, man. Looks like this, wherever you want to fill it out. So they put their name, and I don't know if you have a fighter name. Just put Omar. I'm just playing.
This is the best signature you'll ever have right here.
I'm going to have to sell that. I'm going to cut it out with the Sawzall.
And then I have a secret second middle name that no one knows about.
Does that come from can I say your nationality?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Does that come from the Filipino side or the other side?
No, I think my mom probably just picked it.
Oh, okay.
Then I'll put the epic life.
There you go.
So I kind of touched on that, but I'm always defining and redefining my version of the epic life. That's why I live the way I do the things I do, travel where I live.
Yeah.
And that's something that so many people don't do. So if you ask 100 people if they want to be successful, 98 or more will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask them to give you their definition of success, 80 to 90 plus won't know what their definition of success is.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if you want to be successful, you have to define it.
Yeah.
Because I could give you $1 million or $1 billion. What does that mean? The money is just a tool to live the epic life.
Yeah.
What do you want to do now that you have the freedom to do whatever you want?
Yeah.
You know?
All right, man. So, guys, again, I know we rambled on for a sec, but guys, thank you so much. Mouthguard Out Podcast, Ruben the Taylor, Jason Stewart. Talk to you soon.
All right, brother.
Peace.